Could ask everyone to please rise for the invocation. Pastor Raul Elizondo is going to be giving the invocation, and then stay standing for the pledges, please.
And Judge Scott, I want to thank you and the commissioners for this invitation and for allowing me to pray. Let's pray together. Father in heaven, we come before you this morning asking for your favor and grace over this meeting. Be with Judge Scott, our commissioners, as they discuss it and make decisions for the betterment of the people of Nueces County. Thank you, Lord, that we have godly leaders that still seek your guidance. The needs of our communities are great, but with your help, we believe that you will guide, lead, and provide the wisdom and resources to help us. May you be present in this meeting and give wisdom and understanding to all those involved. Please give strength as well, because leading others and making decisions is a heavy burden and is never easy. The sacrifices these people make are great and many times go unappreciated. That is why we unite and pray this morning for your blessing, protection, and provision for these leaders and their families. In closing, we pray for the people and communities of Nueces County. We know the needs are great and the problems are many, but with your help, we can have stronger communities. We can bring restoration to our cities and our people. May your hand be upon Nueces County. Help our leaders and our communities to work together. As diverse as we are, we all have something in common, the desire to make Nueces County better and stronger. Help us, O Lord, and remember us. We need you today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. You may be seated. We have 4 commissioners here. I believe Commissioner Gonzalez is also here. I haven't seen him, but he will be joining us any second, I am certain. It is 9:05. We are at 901 Leopard Street in the Nueces County Courthouse, and I will certify this meeting is called to order. And there he is. We have all the commissioners. Yes.
We already prayed for you.
Item D, do any commissioners have any conflicts of interest they would like to disclose at this time? If you don't, you can do so when the item comes up. Item E1, we have a certificate of recognition for Luz Dorado James, 9 years of service to the county. She is retiring, and we are so thankful for your service to the county. We have this certificate for you, and I don't know, when we have our county employees that have dedicated their lives, I know I met you and your husband at one of the restaurants not too long ago, and you had been working here 9 years and dedication to your job here. We are so thankful for our employees such as yourself, and just want to say thank you and present this to you. And would anybody else like to say anything? Yes, absolutely, yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. You wanted to say something?
Oh, yeah, but she does great flower design.
Commissioner Hernandez is just recuperating, so he can't probably get up.
You can get over here and angle for him.
Yeah,
if you want
get
to.
that
Is
way
you want to stick
where,
it over here with
yes.
you? Yeah, we'll get you.
I'll come there.
Yeah.
I'll come there.
You can do it this way. Joe, we're gonna do it over here so you can get the picture.
We need you in the front, because
We'll move this just for a second.
let's scoot over here and do it.
Yeah, little angle to that. There we go.
So we can get the commissioner in, because he can't get up right now. He's not moving around too well. Yes, this is good. This is good for you.
Right there. Yeah, right there. I'll get behind you.
Perfect. Thank you again. We appreciate
Gonna
your
leave that back here for a minute, because there'll be a couple more pictures. Okay. I'll put it back for you.
retirement. With Grace Allen.
Yeah, we'll get this for you when you need it. Don't try to get up. Yeah, it's right behind you. But we will get it. Yes. Moving on to item F, adopt the following resolutions in recognition of Coach Steve Campbell's career and retirement. And Francis is going to read this.
Whereas Stephen Campbell began his coaching career in the early 1980s, starting as a graduate assistant for the men's track team and a wide receiver coach at Sul Ross University. He then went on to coach the Toloso Midway High School varsity football team from 1982 to 1984. Whereas in 1984, Steve Campbell began coaching at Calallen High School as the head coach for the boys varsity track team and the varsity football defensive coordinator and defensive backs coach. And whereas Steve Campbell became the athletic director and head football coach for Calallen High School in 2021 and will retire at the end of the 23-24 school year after 40 years of coaching. And whereas his time as the Wildcats football program, Coach Campbell was part of the coaching team that took the Wildcats to state football playoffs for 39 consecutive years, with 12 state football semifinal appearances and 2 state football final appearances. And whereas, in addition to his many accomplishments with the Wildcats football team, Coach Campbell has led the Calallen boys track team with 17 district championships, 2 regional championships, 45 state qualifiers, and 3 individual state champions, as well as being named Track Coach of the Year by the Corpus Christi Caller-Times in 1999. Coach Campbell's record for football was nothing short of impressive. Coach Campbell has a state football record of 16 consecutive years of 10 wins or more in a season, 19 regional football final appearances, 29 regional football semi-final appearances, 33 area football final appearances, and 37 by-district football appearances, 25 district football championship titles. Whereas Coach Campbell was named the District 31 4A Football Coach of the Year in 2001, 2011, and 2016. Coach Campbell's overall record at Calallen for 529 total games is impeccable with a 442, 85, and 2. Now therefore be it resolved that the Commissioners Court of Nueces County does hereby congratulate Coach Steve Campbell on his spectacular coaching career and further recognizes his many accomplishments and contributions to the community.
Thank you, Francis, and I will make the motion to pass.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. I guess I'll start first speaking, but, you know, Coach Campbell is not only just coaching Calallen, he is a great mentor to so many and has impeccable reputation as well to those kids that he has mentored throughout the years. And one being my grandson, who thinks the world of you, and it's going to make me cry talking about you leaving, and I've got all these other ones coming. We thought you were going to coach them too. We wanted you to stay a little bit longer, but we are very thankful, and we appreciate, you know, my kids grew up at Calallen and went to school there too. They knew you as well, the Kate's mom and everything, and we just thank you for your service to the kids, to the community, and everything that you have done beyond that. And then my family thanks you because, as you know, Mike knew your family before you were born even, I believe. So we're very honored to honor you today. Yes.
Judge, I also would like to say something. I don't want to repeat everything you said in kind of time, but Coach Campbell, I'm one that knows that the kids really admire you and look up to you. My grandson being one of them, Jude. So thank you, sir, for what you've done for Calallen, for the kids of Calallen. They really respect you. And, you know, we wish you well and enjoy retirement. Much deserved.
Absolutely. Would you like to say a couple of words? I know you didn't want to do that. You told me no, but you can say something. You talk to those boys every day.
You can talk to us like you talk to them.
Not quite. I've heard you yell on the sides, yeah.
Almost.
No, I'd just like to say that 42 years of coaching is a long time. I think it's the best profession in the world. You always talk about what coaches give to the kids, but the kids give it right back. It's the best part of my job. The athletic director job was not my funnest times with all the problems, kind of like you people face every day. But the best part of my day was always the young men, the young girls that I coached, and it's been a great career. A lot of those statistics that you hear on there, were more credit to Coach Danaher when we both came in there at the same year in 1984. And he came from Hampshire Finette, and I was over at Tolosa Midway, but he hired me. He got hired in the spring and hired me in the summer, and we've had a lot of great experiences. 132 playoff games, which is equivalent to another 13 years. Wow. So those 70, 80 hour a week getting prepared for games and things like that was it was almost worth it. But no, I appreciate this, and very humbled to be here, and not really sure what I'm gonna do after I retire, but I'll figure it out. Thank y'all.
Thank you. And
Thank you,
thank
Coach.
you, Charlotte, too. Exactly. Those hours away from home.
I think your wife already has a
Yeah,
list.
he's going back, Judge.
I think his wife,
Yeah, and I can't forget, thank you, Connie, but I can't forget Charlotte for traveling all over the state, dragging our kids to all the games. I don't care if it was 100 degrees or 20 degrees. She'd have our kids up in the stands and always supporting me, putting on track meets. She was either in the press box, handing out medals and things like that. And so a lot of coaches, they get hired. They don't just hire the coach, they hire the family. And so even if my kids were here today, I'd even thank them for my son for being a ball boy, or for carrying the results at the finish line up to the press box so that they could put medals in the envelopes. And then my daughter, both of my kids went to Cal Allen. I think it's the best school in the area. And but anyway, I'm glad you reminded me. But no,
Thank you, Charlotte.
thanks Charlotte, for my wife, for being supporting me all this time. Thank y'all.
We have this for you also, and if you'll come over here to the side, we'll try to get a photo. Charlotte, please come take a photo with us.
Yes, sir. Rodney's really gonna miss you.
He's going to the ranch.
Oh, good.
Commissioner, come on over here.
Yes.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Congratulations on retirement. All your success.
Item number 2, in recognition of Search and Rescue Week, May 16th through May 22nd. And Dee, you're going to read that one
Yes,
for us?
ma'am.
Thank you. Sorry, we'll let them clear out.
Congratulations.
So proclamation recognizing the week of May 16th through the 22nd of 2024 as Nueces County Search and Rescue Week. Whereas in 2023, there were over 48,008 missing persons reports in Texas, with 12,827 of them being adults and 35,181 of those being children. And whereas communities across Nueces County and the state of Texas are impacted by missing persons, lost loved ones, and the deceased family members due to criminal activity, mental health problems, medical issues, outdoor activities, or natural causes. Whereas search and rescue resources bring closure and aid in the reunification of families. And whereas search and rescue professionals perform flood and swift water rescues and evacuations, technical rescues, locate missing children and endangered adults, and otherwise meet their community's emergence needs. Now therefore be it resolved by the Commissioners Court of Nueces County that the Nueces County Judge and County Commissioners proclaim the week of May 16th through the 22nd as Search and Rescue Week, and offers its thanks to all of the first responder agencies and search and rescue agencies and organizations that support and work tirelessly on finding those that are lost and bringing closure to the families of the missing. Duly adopted by the vote of the Commissioners Court of Nueces County, Texas on this 22nd day of May 2024.
Thank you, Ms.
So
Hopkins.
moved, Judge.
We have
Second.
a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. And Shannon, I think you're going to speak to us first. You going to speak to Jonathan?
Yeah, gotta have him up here too.
Yes.
My name is Shannon Smith. I'm Director of Communications for Texas Search and Rescue. And we just thank you guys for giving us this opportunity to represent Search and Rescue Week all over. You know, there's so many entities that participate when it comes to public safety, and we all have to work together with government agencies and volunteer agencies. And so it's really important that we take a moment to recognize those involved. And definitely a special shout out to our volunteers and showing their appreciation for doing so much on their weekends and evenings to volunteer to support their fellow Texans. So we appreciate the opportunity to recognize everybody and remind everybody of the hard work that everyone in Search and Rescue do. So
Absolutely. Thank you.
you don't have to.
No,
You're not
You know,
bashful, Jonathan.
this is much further back than last year. I was hoping to get up close, but no, thank you all for just recognizing not only, we're here as the face of Texar, but for all first responders, it doesn't matter if it's, search and rescue or fire department or police, that they get recognized for what they do, because it's an act that, everybody should do no matter what. If you see somebody in harm's way, you should help them. And so just thank y'all for that, and I'm reminded every week that they do this every year, that Friday the 24th will be 9 years since I lost my family in the Wimberley flood, and so it hits hard, it hits home, just yesterday we were handing out some scholarships at Ray High School in honor of Laura, Andrew, and Layton, and some of the kids that were receiving those scholarships were friends of Andrew and Layton's at the time, so that kind of brought it home a little bit different, but thank y'all for what y'all do, for conducting business for the county and for everybody else, and for recognizing Search and Rescue. So thank y'all.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Can we get y'all to come up and do a photo too? Sorry. I thought you wanted to speak first.
Mr. Combs.
Congratulations. Good, buddy. Thank you for your service. How's your dad doing?
Doing well. Well, the draft goes, I got him done.
You have a job? I thought he had a job. Local rock.
Yeah, you guys go ahead. That's fine, Connie. Connie?
No, we don't want to block. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Give them all a chance to get out of here. Moving on to item G, public comment. I have Myra Alanis signed up. If you will state your name and address, I think you know the protocol.
Yes.
And you have 3 minutes, yes.
Good morning.
Good
My name
morning.
is Myra Alanis. I live on FM 1889 in Robstown, Texas. We all know that heavy industries are coming into Robstown communities, and they all need large volumes of water. In September of 2022, here before the commissioners, several citizens appeared and publicly made comments regarding the Tesla tax abatement, specifically Ms. Kathy Fulton's comments, and I will read them verbatim. After everything we have been going through with droughts, restrictions, they need to bring their own water, said Kathy Fulton, or we need to be asking these questions. Where is this water coming from? And today, we are faced with the same situation with Avena and all the other industries that are coming into our community. We do not object to industry growth. What we do object is for the industries to build right at our back doors. We don't object to the desal plant being built by the industry and paid for by the industry as they profit for it. We do object with the city of Corpus Christi telling its community, and not just city of Corpus Christi, but it affects everybody in Ricardo, Kingsville, and all these outlying areas because they buy their water from Corpus Christi. We object them telling us and asking us to disproportionately pay for this desal plant. Robstown did not have a water issue, not until Avena came in and purchased every last drop of our allowed water rights. With the additional 3 neighborhoods that are designated to be built and 3 additional ammonia contracts under confidential agreement, we now have a deficiency of 40 million gallons of water. In the proposed desal plant, the city of Corpus Christi's pipeline show a pipe distributing 30 million gallons of desal water into the Robstown area. Domestic citizens in Water District Number 3 only use 2.1 million gallons of water per day. Avena and all the other industries use approximately 10 million gallons per day, so it is quite obvious who that desal plant water is for. Communities deserve to be in a safe place to live, free from industry and waste. If we have not learned anything, we should remember Hillcrest and what they have gone through. That is exactly what we are building our community out there in the next 10 to 15 years. Industry needs desal water. They need it, they want it, they profit from it, and they should pay for it. And they should from our communities. There should be a buffer zone. I don't know what that buffer zone should be, but it shouldn't be in our back doors. I'd also like to comment on item number 13, 2 and 3, $650,000 for the Boys and Girls Club and $750,000 to the historic First Methodist Church. We have heard the presentations for the Boys and Girls Club, and at best, it sounded euphoric. We have not heard any presentations regarding the First Methodist Church, but in reading their website, he talks about his vision is to acquire real estate and existing businesses.
I'm sorry, but your time is up.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Marie Lucio?
Hi, Marie Lucio, 4899 County Road 30. Item 13 does talk about $650,000 that is going to go to the Boys and Girls Club in Robstown, and another $750,000 that's going to the Historic First Methodist Church. How I like that it's being focused on Robstown, we have to, as citizens, question why at this point. Okay, the Boys and Girls Club, it will not be free to the community or the children of the community. They're still going to have to pay. However, we're allotting $650,000 to them. So this money that we're allotting to these entities, are they gonna be used for salary? Are they gonna be used for improvements? Are they gonna be used for renovations? Do you monitor this as, the county commissioner's court? If so, what percentage is going to what? That is what we wanna know. If this money is being put into our community to help our community, we want to make sure that it is going to help our community. However, Historic First United Methodist Church, $750,000. We don't know how that is helping the community, but we leave it to you. Abatements. We didn't know there was a policy for abatements. Do we monitor their compliance on the policy? If I heard correctly, Mr. Hernandez, and I thank you for that, brought up the most important thing we would have liked to see on the policy, which was distance. We know you can't stop these companies from coming into our neighborhoods and planting themselves, but this policy is set probably to deter them, and it could have helped deter them from, coming and sitting right next to us. We could have had a buffer zone, if you're not this far away from existing communities, there is not gonna be an abatement. That would have been something that would have been nice, to have seen on that. Also is, as far as we know, is it true that some industries in this county are not paying taxes? Are they held up to the same standards as regular citizens in paying their taxes? Do they see the same things that are done to their, are their property, foreclosed on, all that stuff? Like, y'all hold us to that standard, industry should be held to that standard also. And that is under your control, because you are the Nueces County Commissioner's Court. Thank you.
Thank you. Greg Smith?
I have an envelope for each of the commissioners.
Teresa can take it for you. 5.
Thank you.
Are you ready with my little slide? Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Greg Smith with Big Easy Entertainment. It's been a year and a whole lot of work before the Commissioners got there and passed a game room ordinance. I would like to give you an update on the effect of that ordinance after being permitted and operating for a year. We have a facility at 390 Naval Air Station called Leaping Lizard. It's been there since 2010. We complied to the ordinance. We've had 0 issues with the ordinance. We follow the rules completely. Slide, please. Slide, please. Slide, please. That's the one I want to look at. I want to talk about the financial impact that the ordinance has put on our business. We have spent $16,000 in the year for security as mandated by the ordinance. We spent $202,000 for a food service, and that's just over and above regular operations, because the ordinance calls out that we ought to be open with food from when the facility opens till when it closes. Those 2 items have cost us significant money. We lost $250,000 in our first year. It cost us $37,000 a month to stay open. We are a community-focused enterprise. We have contributed to the community. Slide, please. Over the years, we interface with Corpus Christi police officers. We donate. Slide, please. We interface regularly. It's time for us to renew our permit, and I'm asking this. House Bill 234 gives the commissioners the authority to mandate, however they want to mandate. We have 25 game terminals in our facility. Next, keep going with the slides. It's a community center. We have pool tournaments, dart tournaments, a variety of different activities. We have live music, and we have 25 game terminals. It's just one piece of our entertainment. We cannot sustain, commissioners. So I'm asking that you do a couple things. Waive the requirement for armed security. We've had 0 service calls from the police department in 2 years. One with the armed security, one without previously. I would like waive the food service requirement. Let us operate food service during food service hours, not at 2 a.m. in the morning. And limit us to 25 games. That will allow us to continue operation. Thank you very much. May I have a motion?
Thank
I'm
you.
just asking if I can, how do I proceed?
On agenda.
Pardon?
This is public comment. We cannot comment on anything. We can't vote. We can't talk about it. So you would have to come back and a commissioner would have to put it on the agenda for a vote.
Well, we
That's
could,
what I was looking for, some guidance.
we can refer him to the county attorney and the sheriff for some guidance as well. That would be probably the
Yes.
best route to start with. Jenny, I don't know if you have anyone that can give him a contact.
We cannot offer him advice, so
would have
the
to go to-
regulations are, and if a commissioner wants to address the issue on the agenda, then that's the next procedure.
I'm just saying, getting him to the right place. I don't know how to get him to the right place, but obviously the sheriff is the one who really.
House
The
Bill
sheriff is the one that-
234 is the guidance.
Yeah, the sheriff is really the one who's been leading the charge on this.
Yes, sir.
To the court.
Julie? Julie's
Yes,
handling it.
you'll have to speak to
Julie, yeah.
someone in the sheriff's office about this. If you can go to my office, they can direct you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who didn't have the opportunity to sign up to public comment that wishes to do so at this time? Then that's the close of public comment. Moving to our consent agenda, are there any items that any commissioners wish to pull for further discussion? I need to pull item B just for clarification, just
B?
B.
I need to pull, just item, 6, 9,
And item in B, or which one?
oh, I'm sorry, you're looking
Which,
at B.
yeah, which
I'm not there
check
yet.
register?
I'm
Yeah.
not there yet. Mine are different. B,
B also?
no,
D? I'm sorry, what are you saying?
yeah, I'm gonna, let's see, special motions, what is special motions?
There's several of them on there.
Which
It's
one, though?
confusing.
Well, in special motion says here, number 6, 9, and 7.
But there's 3 different special motions agenda items. There's D, E, and F. Do you know which one?
Well, it doesn't say on the paper which one it is. Where's the D and F?
You want to just pull D, E, and F to be safe, and then you can,
Well,
Yeah,
look
for,
it.
yeah,
You can
but I don't, doesn't
decide.
say anything on the paper about that. I don't see no D, F on the paper.
was it in your?
So B, D, E, and F,
Yeah, just pull all three of them, just to, that way you can talk about it.
okay.
Did you say BD, Judge?
B, D, E, and F. Is that okay? Anything else, anybody?
Make a motion to pass the remaining items other than B, D, E, and F.
A second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. On item B first, on the check register exceptions, page 13 and page 21, just need to update the department. They're charged off into 11210, the court manager, and that got changed into the county judge's office. We deleted that department, and they moved them into my office, so they're still going into Commissioner's Court Management.
Okay,
Yeah, it's just a coding error, just so.
and on, can you give me the page reference again, Judge?
Page 13 and page 21, it's the copiers, print, shop, distribution that you divide up. The auditor's office divides up to every department a certain amount, and they still have this Commissioner's Court Management in there. It should all go to the county judge's office.
Yes, we'll correct that, thank you.
No, it's a minor change, just wanted to make sure with Workday, we didn't still have that in there. So I'll make the motion to pass with that correction.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Is that clear, though, on the motion, Lorenzo, as to what the correction needs to be, just so the minutes are good?
Yeah,
Okay.
just the department. And yours was, I think I passed that, and I hope yours wasn't part of B, but it doesn't look
C,
like
D,
it.
and E, I don't know which one it is, but
C,
D and E.
and it's number 6. It doesn't
Well, if
look
you go
like
to, I'm
this.
looking at the one that has 1 through 19.
1 through 19,
Yeah,
then that's D.
B.
D.
D, is you, is it?
D is 1 through 19, if that's the one you're looking at. So if we want to,
Approve the other ones, C and E, we'll move that we approve those.
Second.
we,
E and F. E and F.
E and F, we want to, that's the two that are
E and F,
with
yeah.
C. E and F.
Yeah.
And you're seconding?
Yes.
All those in favor to approve items E and F as they are, I'll say aye.
Aye.
I don't know where I am. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Going back to D, you had number 6, and what numbers was it, Commissioner?
I just for clarification, 6, 9, and 15.
6, 9, and 15. Number 6 first is a light, I think, holding company.
Right. Well, I think it's more like a, software, right?
It is.
So let me ask, Lisa, on those three,
Alight is not a software, they're assisting us with our implementation of that software. They're the third-party implementer. And the AMS hours are additional assistance that we need, that we purchased for after implementation, additional development and assistance.
well, it says there's software, so it's not software, it's just a maintenance or what?
It's a third-party company that is providing additional guidance and resources to our staff to help us further develop Workday.
Okay, and that's coming from your account or what?
It is coming, yes, out of County Auditor's Department.
And number 15, is that the same
Number
thing?
9, you had first,
Oh.
9 first.
I think she answered both of them.
Oh, those are both.
Nine is software. Central Square, that's the old One Solution software due to an ongoing matter.
Yeah.
We are keeping the,
We
we
need
are
the
keeping One
information there.
Solution
Yes.
database active, and therefore we had to continue, and I believe that was approved, or it's going to be coming before Commissioners Court for additional approval, but this is paying for services that were already approved by court.
Right, the extension was January through June.
Yes.
Yes.
But we will need to extend again. due to,
But we already voted on the extension through June. It's,
So we're gonna vote again for this one to extend?
no,
No,
this
this
is
is
just
already-
issuing the payment, sir, on the
We've already
contract that
voted.
we currently have in place.
Okay, so this is up to June.
yes, it's a, we were gonna have to bring it back because we think we may need to extend past June, but that will have to come back at our June meeting. Yes.
Okay, so I'm go ahead.
15 though, what is?
15 is, I guess is a software also, or service and maintenance?
It looks like the vendor might have been incorrect. I think that the supplier should be AS Acquisition, Co. Inc.
Not GS, it should be AS.
Oh, GS, sorry,
Yeah,
I can't
I was
read the
like-
handwriting. That's a G. GS, Acquisitions Co. Inc., but it is for the Cognos, Management Software as a Service content. We are going to keep, Commissioners Court's already approved that we were going to keep Cognos, Software as a Service in order to help expedite the report creations via Workday, as we already have all of the reports created in Cognos.
It seems like we got a lot of backup for Workday, man. It's supposed to be an easy process here, but it's not. So how long we're gonna keep that one helping Workday?
That is a completely, it's a reporting software. It's going to help create your budget workbooks, your proposed budget, your monthly financial reports, your annual financial reports. It's gonna help us be able to continue to provide you the reports that you've already receiving.
Okay, and that's coming also out of county auditors?
Yes, this is coming out of county auditor's budget. That is correct.
So move, I mean,
Okay.
I really don't want to agree to it, but so move. I mean,
You have a
Judge, I just, we keep going back and forth and getting some more expenses and more expenses. So, we buy something, it's supposed to work, it doesn't work, or whatever it is, and, you're spending, we've got 3 different things here that we're spending money on to make something work.
Well,
It's supposed to work.
One solution isn't for Workday. They're two completely different.
comparable-
That's our old,
I know, you-
our
you-
old
You're
software.
drawing from that one to the new one, right?
Yes,
That's your
and
old
because of
One
conditions
solution
outside
is-
of our
Right,
control, we're needing
We're
to
not gonna
keep
keep it
it.
forever, are we?
No.
They aren't the ones asking to keep it, we are. We're keeping one solution because of something else
Yeah,
that we
because that's
voted
not
on.
working.
No, it's because of something else, but we'll talk about it later. Yeah, okay.
If I would've known now,
Thank
Judge,
you.
I wouldn't be
Yeah,
asking, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We'd have to take it back to executive to
okay.
talk, but,
All right.
it's just a
so
reminder, it's
moved.
something. We have a motion, do we have a second? We have a motion and a second to pass item D. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Moving on to the regular agenda. Item number 1, discuss and consider authorization of premiums for a 1-year policy term for property and casualty, or liability insurance, and you guys are up.
Good morning. Before I bring Chase up here, he'll answer all the questions you may have. I know Commissioner Modis, myself, the judge, Dale, we all sat down and had the committee meeting with regards to the insurance. For this year's renewals, we do have I.B. McGee Multipurpose Building on it. And I also gave Commissioner Modis price estimation for the property that was in question. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Chase.
Thank you. Good morning. I assume everybody has a copy of the spreadsheet we look at on an annual basis. I'll just run through and highlight a few items. At the top left corner, you'll see your TIV stands for total insured values. That's the number of the county buildings and content assets that we're insuring. Last year, we started at 389 million. Like Timothy said, we're at 392 million. And that was roughly a $3.1 million increase by adding the I.B. McGee building. Item one on the spreadsheet here is our property and windstorm insurance. Last year, if you recall, you guys purchased a $50 million loss limit. It is being recommended that we increase that to $75 million loss limit this year. The property market has softened from what we've experienced the last couple of years. Last year, again, was probably the worst that we had seen in 40 years. This year, if we compared the $50 million limit to the $50 million limit of last year, it's roughly a 9% rate decrease. So we haven't had the opportunity to talk about rate decreases for the last 5, 6, 7 years, but we're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel and starting to see the rates start to come back down. Again, that was at the $50 million loss limit. We can purchase the $75 million loss limit this year for roughly about a 0.5% rate increase from what we were buying at the $50 million limit last year. The cost increase would be approximately $35,000 more than we bought last year for the $50 million limit. The flood insurance, everything else is pretty much status quo on here. These are much smaller numbers than the property and windstorm, but the flood insurance did have a slight increase. That's driven through the FEMA NFIP program. Inland Marine, same thing there. The general liability, the hangers keepers liability, I'm sorry, not the general liability, but the liability and the hangers keepers liability for the airport, slight increase of $355 there. Equipment breakdown, we saw about a $508 increase. The crime policy we have with travelers was a flat renewal. Public officials did see about a $7,000 increase there. That's 100% being driven by a few claims that we have open on that policy. The volunteer insurance, that was no increase there. Automobile liability that we have with TAC was about a $1,600 increase. So a small percentage, and especially what we're seeing in the auto industry right now in the auto market. And then last but not least is our law enforcement liability. Had about a $13,500 increase there. So overall, if we were to buy what we bought last year, which is the $50 million loss limit, the county would see a reduction in your insurance program of $165,000. If we decide to increase the coverage on the buildings from $50 million to $75 million, it would result in an increase of $60,287 to the county this year. Be happy to answer any questions.
That is, we met with them, and that was the insurance committee's suggestion as well. And just to point out, the year before that it was so bad, we had $100 million, we dropped it down to 50, and this, it's still under our budget from last year, would get us back up to 75. So that was the suggestion of the insurance committee in moving forward to go with this one.
But that one would be an increase in our budget? I thought it said $60,000.
Oh, you added the other end since that meeting. Yes, so it is an increase, the 165, yes.
No, well, it says option 1 is an increase of 25,000, option 2 is an increase of 60,000, option 3 is a decrease of 165,000. So which is the insurance committee recommending?
I think that they might be missing a value in option one.
In
for
option
the
one.
For the property and windstorm insurance, so I don't think that that's accurate,
Are we
looking
missing
at
a
it
column
myself.
there? And this is different from our meeting we had the other day.
No, there's nothing missing here. The only difference from our meeting and today is on the public officials liability. We actually got a better quote, and it came down about $10,000 from what we presented to the committee last week. Option 1 would result in an increase from what you paid last year of $60,287, because again, we're buying a $75 million.
That's option 2.
That's
what it
option
said.
That's option 2.
On my spreadsheet, it's option 1 is a
Did we get the wrong
$25,000
spreadsheet?
increase. Yeah, the one I've got shows,
And just for clarity, that public officials one is the same one we have now,
Through TAC?
not through
I'm
TAC.
looking at the same spreadsheets.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
I don't know what that means, sorry. I know you're speaking in code, but I don't know what that means.
Or table it or what?
Do you need to go into executive session for this, or what?
Sure, if we could.
Okay,
Okay.
so that's what,
Okay.
okay, so,
I guess it helps when we look at the same spreadsheet, right?
so what
Yes.
what is this for then? Toss this one?
Toss it.
Toss this one? Okay.
Thank you.
And then the county attorney is requesting this go into executive
This
session?
executive, so we're gonna pull this to the back.
I wonder where that came from. Sitting there.
Oh, this is totally different. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'll see there at option one, hopefully that makes more sense now. That's the $75 million option, which results in an increase of $60,000 to the county. I think
Yes.
from what I was told,
An
that's
increase
still
in premium.
That's
correct, but that's still
still the-
below what you guys budgeted this year for your insurance. I don't know
That's,
about how
that's what I
much.
was talking about. It was below what we had from last year. Yes, this is the one we looked at, yes.
Okay, so
This was
before
still
we go
the
to executive
suggestion.
session, I'm confused then. So if it's a $60,000 increase, then how is it
Below.
It's
below what we
below what we
budgeted?
budgeted last year for the whole
Right.
amount. It's still, it's
What we allocated for,
allocated for it, yes.
for this amount.
But didn't we just allocate last year whatever the actual price was?
So the price,
That doesn't make sense to me, sorry.
I don't know what y'all budgeted. I would assume you budgeted a 10 to 15% increase this year based on what we've seen the last 4 or 5 years.
There is an
But I
Well,
don't
no,
know.
we only budget, like, we have we have this meeting about this time every year, right?
Correct.
So then we
We
go
get
into
the actual
budget with,
amount.
based on what you tell us that it's gonna be. So I can't imagine in last year's budget, we budgeted 10 or 15% more than what we knew it was gonna cost, because we were so tight.
No, whenever we base the budget, so we're a year behind in what we budget. So whenever we get the allocations, we pay it in the current year for next year's premium, and then we budget next year's premium for what we've paid in the current to reimburse.
Right, so
so this is less than still.
so what did
this
we
can't be an
budget? Let's do it that way then. What did we budget last year for, what did we budget whenever we're paying this one for this year?
$2,966,775 was the 2023-24 budget.
In 23-24 budget year, the budget year that we're in, we allocate the premiums to all the departments for what we paid in 22-23 for the 23-24 coverage. You pay it before the coverage starts. And so you're paying for what you're actually getting in the budget year. That's why we have to do it now, so that I know
So
for
my
budget
question is,
purposes.
I understand that. My question is, what did we budget for 23-24, which would be the premium that we're paying right now?
We budgeted enough to cover last year's
What's
premium.
the amount?
What's the number? I'm asking for
Two
the
million,
number.
nine hundred and sixty-six thousand, 775.
It's the current year's budget.
Current year's
What,
budget.
I didn't hear
And so
that.
what we
How-
paid,
No, how much, what was the number again?
what
Tell
we,
me.
the current budget is 2.966775.
Wait, 2.9667,
2,966,775.
that's the current
That's the
budget.
current budget now. So
going
what we
forward,
paid-
right?
Right, for
Okay.
what we're gonna pay now for this premium. But what we paid last year was 2,826,441.
So that's why he's saying that's why the spreadsheet shows that it's 60,000 over what we paid last year, but less than what we
Less
budgeted.
than what we budgeted.
Correct.
Yes.
forward.
So you can get an
Yes.
extra 25 million of windstorm coverage and still be under what you guys budgeted for the property and casualty this year.
So then, wouldn't this really, okay, so, yeah, that's really confusing if this gets posted and people are thinking so really, it's not an increase, it's a decrease from what we budgeted, but an increase of what we paid last year?
Yes,
It's
sir.
an increase of
more
what we
coverage.
actually paid.
Yes, sir. That's spot on.
Yeah, so I guess what we need to do on this going
significant.
forward is to have a column for both, right? Because I didn't understand this either. I was thinking we were looking at an increase, and I was thinking, how are we gonna do this? But what you're telling me is we're looking at an increase over last year's actual amount, but a decrease over budgeted amount going forward,
Correct.
right?
Yes,
And the message is that the market's better for everyone.
Yes,
and
sir.
we're
We're not
getting,
the only government entity in this area or the state that is being able to buy more on their policy
That's correct.
than before, because the prices have gone down in the coverage.
Yes, sir.
Across the board.
Yeah, we have more capacity in the market now, so we have more carriers that have come back in the market. It's creating a competitive atmosphere between the two, or the carriers in the market, and so it's helping drive the rates down again. Versus what we had seen in the past, they were pulling out, so there wasn't a competitive atmosphere in the market, so they were picking what they charged.
Commissioner, we budgeted $2,966,775 for premiums this year.
Yeah, that's what Teresa just said. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
sorry.
No, that's okay. Okay, so then the insurance committee's recommendation,
Is to do the additional 25 million
And-
option, yes.
and I was just curious if there was somewhere in between. I'm just looking at that savings, knowing we're looking at another tight budget this year, and just curious. I mean, I get it. Having more is always better for sure, because with 392 million and only a $50 million deal, that's, we're
That's
rolling
not
the
a lot of
dice.
insurance for all of our buildings and
Yeah,
stuff, so
okay.
I caution you about, I mean, if we,
Mm-hmm.
with the budget and being able to get that much more back, and with the
Yeah, that makes, I
stress
see where
on
you,
possible hurricane season, and, yeah.
no, I appreciate your hard
Don't like
work,
to
and
say
I
that in
see
front
your
of
point. I
Chase,
just,
but
I don't know,
wanna
but I
run you
don't know,
off.
I just
Yeah,
don't know what Jenny wants to go into closed session about, so I guess other than that, do we need to,
It's about one item on the list, Commissioner, and that is the coverage for electeds.
okay, so do you want to wait,
So
Judge?
do we
or-
have to, you're just saying that's duplicating services, we don't need it, so.
Well,
could-
she's saying she wants to go into closed session, so
Right.
I don't know what,
Okay.
This is about current pending matters, current pending cases.
does that have to do with voting on this? Like, can
Yes.
we, oh, it does, okay, all right, then,
Okay.
okay,
Then we'll have to bring it back.
okay.
Okay.
But this is good work, it's good to hear, thank y'all.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
to the insurance committee, thanks, Chase, I appreciate it, Tim, thank y'all. Okay.
Moving on to A2, discuss and consider license agreement between Nueces County and AEP Texas for temporary staging area at the Fairgrounds Field. And this is a regular thing, it's just a license agreement with emergency management that we utilize. I would make the motion to pass. I think it has been
Second, if
a
not-
standard
Second.
thing.
Go ahead.
We have a motion and a
And some
second.
discussion, Judge?
Yes,
real quick?
please. Uh-huh.
Edward, do we have other groups that are, have access or rights to use this property in the case of an event?
We're currently working through that right now with the, essentially AEP is the first on the list, then we have the NEC, and then AT&T, and then Texas, the TCEQ wants to
yes,
stage there as
yes.
well. So there's various parts or pieces of this puzzle that are slowly coming as we're going through time.
And isn't AEP vital to us because they provide our power for the short term when we are out? We don't have the generators there too, so.
Correct.
Just be mindful.
They'll come in
Yeah.
quickly and have us set up.
I guess my
Hopefully, we
point,
don't have to go through it.
yeah, my point is that, I mean, it's such a vital location to the county operations, response to emergencies, and it has such a big footprint, and then with all the buildings that we have that are able to access, that we've used and housed, military and civilian personnel working on response to hurricanes or other events, and also just the stability of having that building there with the generators and all the necessities, the showers, I mean, everything is kind of self-sustaining. in a
Correct.
way.
It becomes a little city, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
It's great, and they do great work out there, so. Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item 3, discuss and consider adopting the Nueces County Commissioners Court order adopting Chapter 320 of the Texas Local Government Code relating to the Nueces County Inland Park System. And Jenny, you came up with this, so do you want to talk about it first, or you want Edward to talk about it? What?
We believe this will assist the county and inland parks with going about some of their procurement in a more expedited way. The commissioners will still be needed to enter into any contracts or do any, any commitment of funds. It'll just allow the court or purchasing and inland parks to have more autonomy with regard to contracting and choosing people to lease or license facilities.
So
And
give
this-
us an example, maybe. Yeah,
so-
how's
So
that?
number 3, you're number 3 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
saying question.
A big example is Oil Belt Little League. So ordinarily, if it's a county property, we have to go out to request anybody that wants to use that property can use that property once our term or leases are over. This mechanism allows us to choose, because Oil Belt has been a good partner with us. And again, we have multiple variations of this, but that's the easiest one.
But
They've
you
been
don't
there-
have to bring it back to court, or you do it and then you ratify it after court?
No,
I mean, I don't understand what
no,
this solves if you have to come back to
This
court
just allows
anyway.
us, instead of having to bid it out, we can just choose. But
The
you still-
court.
The court.
The
can ju-
court.
The court chooses, not you, Inland Parks chooses,
Yeah, and we don't
yes.
put
Our
it out for
purchasing
bid.
chooses.
We don't put it out to bid, we don't do anything, we just choose the person that we've worked with all these years. So Oil Belt has
The
been
court.
there.
Like the softball thing that's coming up, is that one
Yes.
example?
Is
of
that-
Yes,
And have we had this order before?
not that we have any record of.
And so this provides us more flexibility on little onesies and twosies that comes along, deals that we don't have to bid out that come to us, kind of thing?
Correct.
Okay, and so there's no downside that you see is
No.
legal for us?
There's
Okay.
nothing they can do to incur costs that the county would have to,
Correct.
that
The-
we don't approve, that
the court is in
anybody can do.
control.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's a good explanation.
Yeah.
You had the same questions, Judge, good job.
yeah, thanks.
I did, I was
Sorry.
trying to figure out what this was
I
about too.
hated this. Yeah. We have a motion to pass. Do I have a second? Sorry. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you. And thank you, Jenny. And Edward. Item number 4, discuss, consider, and receive presentation.
Judge.
Oh, what?
I'm sorry. Oh, who was the second?
Commissioner Modis, yes, sorry. Gotta keep going, sorry. The Coastal Bend Tidal Wave softball team, speaking of which, and their request to utilize the Robstown ball fields and related matters. And you wanted to tell us a little bit about you and what your plans are before, and then I think I have some questions for our county attorney, and so, okay.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Blake Miller, pardon the voice, all the coaching stuff. I'm the head coach of the Coastal Bend Tidal Wave when we finally get this thing going full steam. Pure history of it, this league is 1 year old. Originally MPF, the original women's professional fast pitch, went for 20 years, and then COVID killed it. As we imagine, a lot of things happened at that time. Now they're getting the league back going. Right now, there's a team in Austin. There are 2 teams in Mexico and 1 in Alabama. They reached out to South Texas, because of the organization here, and said, hey, will you start a team? They waived the initiation fee to try and get us to get going. And so we just searched relentlessly to try and find a field. At this time, because if we get everything going, a team from North Carolina is going to come in, a team from Tennessee, so it's a big growing endeavor. Currently, we're looking to bring in players from California, people out of the Valley that we're playing in San Antonio right now. So we're looking at this as just an amazing opportunity for the young women in this town to have role models. I do coach some club teams. I used to be a college coach for 20 years. And so now I'm coaching with all the young ones. And to bring them in the facility and see these women that actually professionally want to go work and show the dedication and skill that a lot of these kids don't see every day. It's an opportunity that's just amazing. It can help our young women just grow and with good leaders.
Thank you. I had a quick question. Your first game was supposed to be pretty soon or something? That was my concern in all of this. I know it wasn't.
First game is planned out to be June 12th.
Okay.
They are going to start us out on the road.
Oh,
No.
so it won't be a home game?
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
okay, yes.
No, ma'am. They're talking about one weekend on the road, and so there's a lot of work to do. Now, the extra benefit we've got is when we walk the stadium, there's a lot of work to do. But when we showed pictures to the WPF, they're like, we will send you guys, that stadium's amazing. Put the work into it, and we will give you guys the playoffs and the championship series. So now instead of just the 4 weekends, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they want to bring all these teams and all these fans into that area. When we got the idea that we could hold playoffs and all of that together, it just really, rejuvenate that whole area. I mean, it just makes it a lot of fun.
Then my next question, you sent some requests out. Are you, did you receive them and are you comfortable moving forward or?
We have we received some documentation, we found some other documentation, and I can share that. We got some input back from Inland Parks yesterday, which we are putting into the license agreement that I should have something for the court and to share if the court desires me to with Tidal Wave later today. So as far as can the court do it? Sure. But if there are, I mean, if the court has any questions for me, I can maybe elaborate on what we found. I don't have a recommendation as to whether it's a good or bad business decision.
Edward wants to say something real quick. Yes.
So Judge, Commissioners, the issue here is that we put the stadium to bed, like we said last year. We took out the funding, we've shut it down pretty much. We've had in the news media some break-ins, some people stealing copper, stealing stuff. This would be a great opportunity and pretty much no cost to the county in where they can upgrade the field, upgrade the stadium, do stuff for the facility and keep it in a condition to where we don't lose an asset. You know, one day maybe we'll knock it down, Commissioner Chesney, one day. But until that time, we need to keep this asset up or at least in a viable condition. And this would be an avenue to where we can do that without spending county funding or minimal amount of county funding.
How much is minimal? What are you talking about?
Well,
What are you gonna have to spend? Let us know what that cost will be.
The only thing that we're looking at is because we need that water well is about $8,200 from.
How much?
$8,200 from our side to fix a water well that we need to fill that pond that's out there.
To fill the pond?
Yeah, the one between the library and so that's where we get our power from. That's something that we really need to do. And we're working on it because we don't want that pump to seize in the ground and we need it up and operational.
What this letter says, they're doing everything.
Right, but this is just, Judge wanted to know what the minimum was. That's the
When you
minimal.
keep saying minimum cost to the county, I want to know exact cost to the county.
That's
It's
the minimum that
Yes.
we're gonna
And
do.
that, I understand that being on us if that's the county's water well, but, you know, we made it very clear with the phone calls and stuff, the county wasn't in a position to mess with that over there and invest money in there. We would love to see someone come in and utilize it and fix it up and it'd be a great success. We have no problem with that. I'm not sure how we move forward here, if we could move forward with a vote contingent upon y'all agreeing today on the paperwork or something moving forward, or?
And I'm not gonna sit here and argue about $8,200, except I'm gonna sit here and argue about $8,200. So the letter says, our ask of Nueces County is nothing, no maintenance, no labor expenses, et cetera. We're prepared to take on the needed maintenance of the field for the durations of its use in exchange for rent. So to me, that's zero investment by Nueces County.
Okay.
Not $8,200, Edward. So I don't want you to walk out of here thinking we said it was okay to do $8,200 because this letter says they'll do everything. Because I mean, at some point we need to put this, and I keep throwing that out there. At some point, I'll just put it on. But I'm not trying to step on toes of other commissioners and their precincts and everything else. But this is again a countywide project that just happens to be in the precinct. It's a very valuable piece of land. It's not very valuable with that field on it. I mean, I think there's all kinds of potential for repurposing that field into something else, or to sell it to someone else, or to do something else with it. Because the millions of dollars, because let's be honest, the millions of dollars it would take to really get that field back up, I don't see us ever having or wanting to have, because nobody uses it. And I'm glad y'all are here to use it, but you brought it, this is on the agenda, so I'm gonna take my opportunity to speak about it, because I think it's definitely something we as a court need to put on the agenda and have a long-term, or have a discussion about, and make a decision on because again, I think that is a very valuable piece of property, but not as a ball field that nobody can use, and it's gonna cost millions of dollars to update. And maybe, with no offense meant, maybe should have never been built in the first place, right? But at the end of the day, it's there, and if they can come in and use it at no cost to the county, Edward, no cost to the county, that's what their letter says, so let's be, I mean, I'm not gonna vote in the favor of this if you're gonna go spend $8 on this, because it's throwing good money after bad, in my opinion. I can get outvoted, and if I do, I'm okay with that. If that's what the rest of the court does, I get outvoted often, so it's okay. I mean, but I think, I don't want you to walk out here thinking it's okay to spend $8,200, right? Unless the court says so, and if the majority of the court says so, I'm good with this. But this is one of those big picture items that we definitely, not for today, but we need to discuss.
So what's the, I'm sorry.
No, you're good, go ahead.
So what's the advantage to the county? I know it's on us, the $8,200, $82,000, whatever it is. What's the advantage to the county on that? What do we do with that? How do we benefit from that?
So the $8,200 is just to keep the pond filled. Right now, as if you go out there, you'll see where it's dropped down at least 5 feet from the top of the pond. We can not spend the money and just allow the pond to evaporate, so to
Well,
speak.
we don't do that either, so.
It's a feature out there that's part of the landscape of the whole facility as a whole. That's the only reason that we would spend the money on fixing that.
Well, I mean, to me, whatever's written in the contract might be zero money, but, I think that sometimes we need to take our own responsibilities too. Either let it go and not do nothing with it, and it goes down further, so. I always thought it'd be a good soccer field myself too, a long time ago, but I don't have a problem with the $8,200 that we need to spend, to bring something up that we need to have anyway. That pond needs to have water in it before it dries out. So, if we don't have anything, then it's not gonna get filled.
But why though? I don't even know why we need it. That's what I'm trying to fit, why do we need it?
That's why I was just asking Edward,
Yeah, if you could ask that.
was there a need for that? For the water to be in that pond,
We don't use the water for anything else other than to fill the pond?
Yeah, it's just a water feature, those fountains that are there,
So how much money do we spend to do that?
Usually, we just spend electrical on the.
To build that pond?
To build
to
that
build the
pond,
pond.
and then we've just
Just
done
let
the
it go-
ARPA
let it
improvements
go
on the
dry and-
storybook,
Well,
yeah.
the pond in and of itself is part of the construction of the facility. So that pond was where they took all the dirt to build the mound for the stadium. So it was part of that construction. The construction commissioner was about $7 million, if I remember correctly, back in 2008.
I'm sorry, guys, but we invest somewhere else, we don't wanna invest in somewhere else. You can go around life and saying everything's free, but not everything is free. And then, when willing to invest in one area and not another area, because, I think we just need to look at it where, in the long run, if it's gonna benefit us, we need to look at that. Whether we're not talking about a lot of money here either, so.
Okay, but can we not go with we invest in some areas and not another? Because I'm gonna bring out the millions of dollars that we invest in every part of this county. That's not a fair argument, Commissioner, and if you're gonna make it, I'm not gonna sit here and take it, because that's not true. We spend millions all over this county.
Hey, I
This is
didn't
a,
interrupt you when you were talking.
you paused, you stopped.
Well,
You stopped talking, I didn't know if you
I'm not
weren't-
finished.
Okay,
But anyway, I just thinking, Edward, it's a ball theory that we need to come up with. I mean, these gentlemen, I'm sure they're willing to do it if they want to feel bad enough, maybe. But I think that, I just think it's up to us to be able to put some kind of a meaning to this bone here, because it is our facility, it is our pond, and we spend a lot of money to build that pond, to keep it feel as a I guess a side attraction or whatever it is, to make it look good out there, and so we know we're gonna let it dry for what? So what do we waste all that money for? To let it dry again? So I think the investment would be very, very worthwhile compared to other investments we make, so I think that I think we should do it. I think if Jenny says okay, that there's no problem with that, then we should, I don't have a problem that we look at it and invest on it.
But they're offering to do it,
No, no,
Commissioner.
No,
I'm
no,
just-
no. I want to ask that. If you're saying the
Read-
only thing this does
it's
is
just
fill
a
the
lot.
tank, why would they even mess with it? They're doing the ball field. This doesn't have anything to do with the field.
That's right. I
Why
mean,
We
would
don't,
it
I
need-
mean,
The thing is that all that electrical power is into the scoreboard. It's all one piece. So we'll be fixing a portion of it, which is just routing the electricity to our pumps, but that still leaves the rest of the scoreboard. It's all integrated into one.
for the
Right,
tank.
Right, so they're,
Yeah, the
they've
power all goes
indicated
to
there's
the
no
scoreboard.
expense to us. I don't understand.
Edward,
At this time, just so I know, with, as we're trying to get everything, all of this going, right now, we're worried about bringing in a temporary scoreboard. We're trying to get people to this city. And I'm sitting there cringing because all of a sudden it's turning 100 degrees and I'm gonna be out in this heat all of a sudden. We're trying to get everything that's going and we're not worried about a pond. We're worried about, we want these kids to see these professional players.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I want to go put a winning team on the field and bring these people to the
I
area.
agree.
So, those are my
Commissioner
concerns.
Hernandez has a question, I think.
Edward, this pond, does it serve a purpose like a retention pond as well?
Yes, so eventually, it's all if you looked at the stadium or the fairgrounds, so the portion of it from the Terry Shamsey Boulevard that makes that curve, from that point, there's a breaking point where all that drains into that pond.
Okay.
And then it drains into a drainage, which is that big, the drainage district that belongs to drainage district number 2.
So it does have some type of benefit then.
Yes, sir.
And as well, I like to see this going also because that's what I do on weekends. I watch softball, the women's college softball, and they get pretty exciting. So I like to see it, get off the ground here. I think it'll be a good thing, not just for Robstown, but for the whole community. So, yeah, I like to see it get going.
But they don't need the pond is what they're saying.
They need the power.
They don't.
The power.
Right,
The
so
power.
that's not, the power is what they would be doing anyway. That's what I'm losing here. They've indicated in their letter that no expense, no labor, no nothing to the county. And then you threw in that we need to spend money on the pond that now you're saying was developed as a retention pond when that thing was done all these years ago? Okay, so if it's a retention pond, then it would retain whatever water's out there naturally, right? So there's been no rain, there's been no water, so there's nothing to retain. So I'm trying to figure out what is it that we would have to do extra that they aren't gonna already do? That's what I don't get. Like, what do you have to do extra? Like, they have to, because if you're saying it's all part of one panel, then they would just fix that panel. They don't care about the pond, is what I'm hearing them say. They just want to put a team on, which is a cool idea. So why did you even bring the pond up? Just to throw honestly, to make it really a little more confusing because they don't need the pond or want the pond. They're willing to do the electrical that you say is all one panel, so why did you even bring it up?
Because if I would have repaired it, because that's what the
But
plan
they're
is.
saying that's what I'm
if
saying.
we would have repaired it, because I told the judge, that's something that I feel that we need to do, because we need the water into that pond. So as part of this conversations that we've discussed this, that was, and then you asked, is there a minimal amount of, when you asked the question, is there a minimal amount? Yeah, I know it seems very small, but I'm just answering truthfully that that's what I feel. If y'all choose and say, don't do
Right,
it,
I think
then we
you're.
won't do it.
Well, no, I think you're confusing the issue. In other words, what they're asking for is to come in and use the ballpark and get it up to speed. You're now throwing in the pond that they don't even care about or need in this facility.
But we do.
So if I think
Well-
we need to put that on the agenda for another item, and let's talk about the ballpark, what we want to do, but let's let them, as long as the county attorney is okay with the legal side of it, let's let them do their team, and let's get this thing going, and quit talking about a pond, but don't spend the money until you bring it back, and let's talk about the whole park and see what we need to do. But they don't need the pond, they just need electricity to run their scoreboard, so I think they're saying they're willing to do that, so let's go.
Excuse me, Commissioner Mattis, aren't you having some type of, work being done there in that area where the pond is?
Yes, Commissioner, court approved the work on the Story Walk Trail around that pond. We just approved it or finalized it last meeting.
But that's not in the ballpark, right?
No, it's just outside, but it is between the library and the ballpark, so it's all part of that
Between the
And we have a
footprint.
deck over the pond.
For me,
I said, and we have a deck over the pond.
yeah.
So the pond's not even in the ballpark, right?
Correct,
Just
but the
outside
power
the
supply,
outfield.
Outside the library.
Just outside the outfield.
Ball, pond inside the ball.
Me, I mean, I love the concept. I can't even recall, once this issue came up, how many different leagues or teams that have approached us or have used it in an official capacity or in an actual league competition over the last 7, 8 years now. So obviously y'all are willing to make investments. You like the bones of it, the Scouts, and we've had other developers who have come to our community and felt the same way. So you've indicated that you're going to, if this is approved, move forward with making improvements in lieu of the, I guess, the rental fee or the usage fee that we have for the
Yes, sir.
stadium. Does this, Edward or Jenny, Ms. Dorsey, is there an exclusivity part of this contract or this agreement, I mean, where it's only going to be used by the Coastal Bend Tidal Wave? Or is this something that, you know, can others in the community benefit from these improvements when the field is not being in league use? Or in
There are
practice?
several issues still up for, that we are putting into the offer to license the property. One of the issues is there is a use of the parking now that is, currently, they have an agreement where this, flea market takes up the parking. So we're going to have to address who's gonna be using the parking, whether it's needed, and how to iron that issue out with inland parks. There are other issues where, as far as financial capacity, we have received some records, but I think they will be able to explain to you why those records do not reflect their current and future ability to fund what they are saying they are going to do for the county.
How are you funded?
How are we funded? Everything
Sorry.
started,
I'm-
this organization's from Marucci. Basically, that was the base of everything. And so it was, that organization started 3 years ago. And the owner of Marucci is friends with WPF. And so they called they called the owner of Marucci here and said, hey, we want to go to the team. And so it's funded from the grassroots right now. And we're reaching,
So
we have to
you're
go
planning
community.
to make money with the games in order to fund yourself? Yes, with the
And
facility.
sponsors and everything, yes, ma'am.
Sponsors and- Yes.
It is
There
it
is
is
no,
trying to run.
yeah, backers yet. You're planning to search out donors.
We were uncomfortable with searching for backers as we did not have a home field yet. So
Understand that.
now that we're trying to
Understand
push
that.
this forward.
Good point.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I know I needed to ask that
And so,
question.
oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. But the biggest thing is to get this organization going. We're gonna work our tail off, but at the same time, it was sprung on us 2 months ago, or a month and a half ago now, as you know. And so trying to get through the process is just been insane. Now we have Major League Baseball backing this WPF, which will help this. Him and I are hitting the road for Vero Beach next week, if this goes through, so we can go down to a tryout on ESPN through all this and get more publicity through that. And so it's chaos. That's the best way I can put it. Well, that's any college athletics or pro sports, so.
Well, I mean, the concept is great. I mean, I think our community's always embraced entertainment and sports, and we have a variety of semi-pro or professional sports teams here or collegiate sports teams within the region. So I like the idea and think, you know, we're a strong baseball and softball town, so I think it could definitely have a draw. My concerns would be more on the legal, because that's where we've always gotten caught up on with previous groups. Right, the devil's in the details, and so that's what's stopped us from committing to other groups in the past. And of course, COVID was a big one, because we had a semi-pro baseball team that was very interested, and it kind of just right on the cusp of COVID, and so it it didn't come through. But I guess my concern is, you know, any kind of, I don't say buyout, but any kind of, you know, escape clause that we would need to ensure if there's certain parameters that aren't met, that would need to be included, right? If you're not holding up to your side and it's only certain parts that have been complete and, well, we'll get to them. I mean, if you're committed to wanting to field a team here, I'm going to support it. But we also want to make sure that you do meet what you're telling us, which is that you can address most of the issues, maybe not all of them. We know that there's a lot of areas that have been neglected over the years just because of lack of maintenance. But if you can kind of revive it and make use of it for you and make it nice and presentable for our home team and for visitors to really enjoy the experience, I think there's still a lot of spirit and effort in wanting to support our team there. It's a great, easy drive for most people to locate, and so I'd love to see use of it. I would also want to see something short-term that, so you don't have to commit anything long-term, but we also don't tie ourselves to future discussions, as Commissioner Chesney mentioned, as far as, yes, we do really need to sit down and talk about the long-term planning of this. But, you know, we had a baseball kind of top golf kind of group that came about a year ago that was very interested, and it seemed like it would happen, and it kind of fell apart. So I get excited every time there's a group that comes in, and I'm always asked a lot of times what is going to happen with the ballpark, and especially most recently was kind of negative news that we had. So I want to always give it a chance, but I want to make sure too that you can commit to the improvements that you're saying you're going to do, and that we actually see improvements. So then maybe there is a new approach, maybe there is a recommitment that you can help us kind of stabilize that facility to where we see that we can still put it to use. Baseball tournaments used to be held there for the high school level until it kind of got to the point where it was just not safe for the players. So that's one thing that y'all are gonna have to consider on leveling the outfield and some parts of the infield, and so that's just part of it, right? There's seating issues. The lighting is still a big take, unless you're gonna have them during the day, but good luck with the heat. So those are just some of the things that I know of, having just kind of lived this for the last several years. And I haven't bothered to check in the last few months, you know, I'm sure the deteriorating condition of it. But if you say you can do it, and if you are willing to put the backing behind it to prove it to us, not to say, oh, we're willing, but actually show how can you back that up? Who are your backers? This is the money that we have. Then I will support that. But I mean, I don't have a problem understanding that the time frame is essential to get some sort of agreement. I wouldn't have a problem supporting it for now, but contingent on legal giving the last
Approving.
approval and review of it, because we won't meet for almost another entire month. Normally, we meet more
Already
often than
playing
that,
then.
so you're gonna be playing hopefully by then. Yeah, and then, and good luck on getting your sponsorships lined up in such a short window, but I wouldn't mind giving it a try if you all are willing to devote as much as you have indicated here in these attachments that we have.
The nice thing about it is, that's where, when they first asked us a year, because we asked for it to go a whole year, we want to keep the thing in shape. And the first year, I would say, those concession stands, it's so much chaos. I doubt we get to the concession stands. We ask, hey, food trucks, make the environment, bring people out, and do everything we can right off. I mean, everything we can to make the place nicer. And then, like I said, and then through that year, keep it up. Bring girls out there, bring more tournament teams. And because like I said, the Marucci organization, and you can actually build it and make it good for a longer period of time through that year. And so that's the big thing, is to get this team going so we can build a bigger base for our young females.
I'm sorry, were you done, Commissioner Mars? I didn't mean to interrupt.
Sorry.
Why this field? Like, there's all kinds of cool baseball and softball fields all over the coastal bend.
There's no other place.
Tell me why.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
The big thing is the capacity.
Capacity.
Even my old field there at the Islanders, you can't even talk about getting enough people there. Cabanas is nowhere close. And to tell you the truth, I mean, it is South Texas, and I mean, one of our biggest pitchers, what we're about ready to sign is from the Valley. We're expecting people to come from the Valley. We're expecting people to come from San Antonio. And they wanna, a lot of those people wanna have a beer. We can't go to Cabinets and serve a beer.
They don't
Where-
serve beer at cabinets?
It's a high school field, CCISD.
And so what about there's some private,
But none of these fields, that you do not have the ability to put butts in the stands. Pardon, I'm a coach. I mean, that's just the way, you don't have the ability there. It's absolutely amazing. I played 20 years of men's professional fast pitch. And most of my fields, when I'm traveling all over Canada, all over the US and Europe, are old baseball fields. And we put the fence up and you're sitting there, you have people in the grass. And you're putting bounce houses, you're putting things out there, so everybody's fun. You have the regular stands. And so that environment right there is absolutely amazing.
and so have you done this other places?
No, I played.
No, but I mean, so in your letter, it indicates the investment's gonna be $200,000 in labor and materials. And I think the judge or someone asked, and you haven't had a chance to go get backers and all this stuff. Okay, that's good and fine, but where does that, but I gotta ask again, because
Yeah.
and Commissioner Modas is right. We've had several groups that come in and it sounds really great and it's cool and it's neat. And if we don't support it, we look bad and so forth and so on, but then we never see them again. And I think this was one that Edward mentioned to me and I was like, okay, great, but where's the money gonna come from? How's it gonna work? You know, it costs money to turn the lights on. It costs money to, I don't know if you're gonna play at night, whatever. But it's the same, so I gotta ask because we had asked to support something, where will you come up with these funds and how will this work? And if you haven't had experience doing this before, and I don't mean it in any way, shape or form rudely, I'm just saying, why would we be convinced that y'all can do this and pull it off and get it done? Because I just, all I have is what's in my packet, right? So
Yes, sir.
it's not much. I don't know much about the WPF. Haven't heard much about Coastal Bend Tidal Wave until this. All I have is what's in my packet. It's not a lot, so I'm just trying to figure out.
We have to we have to hit the ground running and go get these people. Now, do I have the background as far as starting a whole new organization? No, I coached the University of Virginia, coached the University of Oregon, went to World Series and raised money. That's what I do. But do I say I have that? No, we have to get a home. And who's excited about going to play at Price Park?
At where?
Just a rec field,
No,
exactly.
I couldn't hear what you said.
No, I'm saying it's just a field that nobody cares about. These college athletes, this is better than the fields they're playing on. And so the point that you're getting people excited about coming into this environment, now I can go to a sponsor and say, hey, we're bringing in the top athletes for our young women in this community. Let's go have fun. And
So it's May, what is today, May 22nd, your first game was supposed to be when?
it'll be June 12th.
And so you're gonna be able to find $200,000 between now and June 12th and get it all up to speed and do it, talk about.
I don't
hitting
see
the ground.
200,000 in, maybe.
Well, that was.
I don't see 200,000 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so like.
Now, it's like.
That was the
well,
letter from Nicole Andrade that we
Okay.
got. And that's from the Coastal Bend Tidal Wave. So I'm trying to figure out who everybody
Okay.
is. So how does Nicole Andrade,
Nicole is the GM.
and
And she is the
what are
owner.
you?
I'm Blake Miller, the head coach.
Okay, and what's your role, sir?
Joe Morabito, assistant coach.
Okay, so you're the coaches.
Yes,
Is
sir.
Nicole Andrade from Corpus Christi? Does she
Yes,
live-
ma'am.
okay.
Yes, sir.
And so she's the one who sent us the letter. Again, so I'm just going with what I got.
We're good, we're good.
And it says, we anticipate the investment to be approximately $200,000 in labor and materials. That's big number.
It is a big number, but we're talking about over the period of time. You're mentioning getting $200,000 in the next month.
To get the field ready to play, that's,
We have an army of.
Now, I have done that. my whole
We have
life.
an army of contractors that are willing to donate their time to help get that stadium ready to go in the next month.
okay, so, and again, I'm going on this letter that I got that says, investment during the initial use, setting the field for softball, lighting repairs, bathroom repairs, that's like takes dollars, right? Power washing interior, painting dugouts, installation of temporary fencing, repairs to beer taps, improvements to the press box, portable scoreboard, improvements, updates to the suites for use, improvements to the locker room, striping. That's that's real dollars. I mean, you can have an army of people, but you gotta have the materials for all that and so forth, so.
And
I mean,
goodwill.
I'm just trying to,
And
again, I
goodwill.
mean, we
Well,
just have
that's-
had so many come before us before, I hope it works. I really do, but I'm just trying to figure out how it's gonna work because you're asking us to approve it and,
Well, we'll never know unless you try it, right?
Yes, sir.
yeah, I mean.
When I talked to Nicole, and Jenny and I both had multiple conversations back and forth, the 200,000 was meant to be throughout the year. It was gonna take, they were gonna do small improvements, start the game, get sponsors, start doing it. It wasn't gonna be in the first 2 weeks, but
Yeah,
there was
that's what I'm asking.
major work that needed to be done. But it was relayed to us that that would be what they wanted to accomplish throughout the year, and that's why we wanted to put that, some wording into the contract, that that's part of giving them the field, that this would be perimeters that they have to meet if they want to continue, and I think a short-term lease to see if they can get it off or something, if y'all can agree on wording and the contract or something is.
And if the
yeah.
court would designate a member of the court who I can work with to make sure that the measures that I'm asking for in the licensing agreement are agreeable to the court, that way in the June meeting, perhaps they can ratify, the court could ratify an agreement that is already underway.
But, and I guess, and that's fine, but I mean, my concern on this, I'm being honest too, is if this court determines that in a month or 2 months that we're gonna go a completely different direction, I don't want these people to spend their money and time on this thing. I'm not saying that's where we're going, I don't know, but I mean, if they're gonna spend all this money for a short-term lease and then we decide to go a different direction, because this is literally the only, like, let's say this one works. This would be the first one that would work. We've had zero interest in that field. We couldn't get high school teams to use it when it was in operation because TM wouldn't build their own field, London wouldn't build their own field. We couldn't give the thing away, Edward. I mean, and you know this because I had London out there and I think one of the commissioners had TM out there, but they don't need it anymore. So my concern is I don't want to waste these people's money and time if this one does work and it's the only tenant we have, because that's not sustainable either for us, because that thing's gonna take, I mean, from what Edward's estimated, what was it last time, Edward, 4 or 5 million that we needed to put into that field? I mean, to get it really to where it's needs to be? I mean, that's a huge deal.
It wasn't 4 or 5, it was about 2 million, somewhere around that area. So
To get-
essentially, we were gonna completely redo the field. We needed to redo the scoreboard, which is a large portion of the cost. Then go through the facility and redo the suites and
And then figure out who's gonna ever use the thing.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the thing, and I mean, this is not enough of even if this works great, it's not enough of a tenant for us to spend $2 million on and hope that they work, because, they're gonna be using it for 2 or 3 months a year, and then there's not gonna be anybody using it.
That's why we're saying we're going full year.
What's that?
We wanna keep it up the full year.
They wanted a year
We want
was the
it
short
year-round.
time, 1
We
year.
wanna keep it up the whole
and
time. We
then
don't want the thing to fall apart and then have to go back and go do the
Their
same thing
lease,
again.
they are asking for a year.
No,
to
but all you're
yeah.
gonna use it is June through August.
No,
that's-
sir.
No.
They got winter
That's what
ball.
this letter said. No, I'm just reading what the letter
In the
says.
conversations, though, she said they were wanting to bring some other playoffs and other games here. Maybe that wasn't in her letter, but Jenny and I both were talking to her about that.
Okay, so all right, so being fair, at the conclusion, there will be a playoff series. So let's say it's June through September. What would be the use after that, right? I mean, in other words, it's just, I just don't want them to waste their money and time and then we decide to go a different direction. But if they want to, I mean, as long as you know what's out there, that we're going to have a big picture conversation on this thing, because,
Whether it's beneficial to continue or not.
I mean, I don't know that we can do a year lease with someone and then we can't have a conversation because they have the lease. So what do we do then? Let's say we give them a year lease and then we decide we can't ever sustain this thing, then we've given them a year lease, then we're stuck with that year lease. I don't know what to do. Maybe we need to do a shorter term lease and ask for less improvements, just the basic necessities so they can get it going, but I don't know. I mean, I think it's great, but I don't think that just this tenant can make this work based on the length of the season that you're talking about, June through September or whatever, but I don't know.
They obviously see it as a long-term investment, and so that's promising to me, right? But I do think we need to reevaluate it, assuming that this is a success or some variety of success, and then decide if that's something that we can continue to commit to, or do we need to make a goal about the future? I think we can run parallel paths on that and still honor this group's, expected commitment to the community and to that facility. So I'd be very much willing to serve as a point of contact if the judge is not available, and I know.
It's in your district, I think
Yeah, it's
you'd
in
be the
precinct,
person.
but, I mean, if anybody has a passion about it, I mean,
Precinct.
I think we're all sports fans in one way or another, but just like I said, I mean, some of the experience I've had, I mean, kind of knowing what to look out for, what to ask for, I think will be helpful in providing suggestions also as well, right? We want to do it the right way.
Yes, sir.
If we know there's a pitfall coming up, then we know how to avoid that, and Edward obviously does with the previous tries that we've made over the years. So I like it, once again, because we're not asking the taxpayers really to put any investment in this. Y'all are willing to self-invest and bring entertainment value to our community, and that checks off a lot of
And our young women.
boxes to me. And of course, yeah,
I mean,
to our
we gotta do something
softball
for
community
the-
is unbelievable here in our area, and we have so many teams advancing through the regionals and up towards state. So we're strong. I believe like you do, that we'll have a strong fan base once you're able to get established. So, but we still got a lot of work to get done with legal before that can be finalized. But I'll be supporting it at least tentatively until we hear differently from.
So are you
Ms.
making a
Dorsey.
motion then for you, Jenny, to proceed and, with,
And then we'll have to address, how if we're able to negotiate terms, how does the court want to treat them getting started or the agreement being begun prior to the next court date?
Man, you got a suggestion, lawyer?
Well,
I'm being serious. I mean.
if the court wants to designate Commissioner Mars to work with us on terms that are protective of the county, and if the court indicates that it's up to Commissioner Mars to sign that agreement, and if he does, then the court will at least consider ratification of that agreement in June, then we can go forward.
We would love, I mean, if I'm possible, because the game field and cutting down the trees that are growing and power washing, I would love to go in there tomorrow and just start working. And now we don't, because we've got to get stuff ready. Now, if it ends up not working out, then I spent my time and I did it, that's fine. But there is so much, I have so much sweat equity that I have to put in that,
I think so.
It's currently a baseball.
I agree with you.
Switch to a softball field immediately.
Gregory Portland has a nice complex.
Yes, they do.
yes, sir, it
And-
does.
and I'm
And it
sure-
doesn't have seating enough for what
And I'm
it
sure
is.
when they built it, they weren't sure if it was gonna be a success.
Yes, sir.
Well-
But we in this area of the state, we are a baseball community or keeping our kids in sports. Yeah,
Softball,
when my
baseball.
grandson was playing, those parking lots were full of mom and dads bringing their kids, to play ball or learn how to play ball. So I think it would be a good beneficial thing for us to do, to try. It's not gonna cost us anything.
It won't cost anything, it'll cost them in the long run.
Yep.
So,
and if it doesn't work out, then it's your loss. But I agree with the motion to select Commissioner Modas to meet with Jenny and take action representing the court to move forward if it meets all the guidelines and standards that the attorney tells us and that you agree with, having been over there and so I'll make that motion.
Second.
Could the motion include some sort of terminology that if the court moves a different direction with the field, that,
You can't have them have a contract and try to have a baseball team and move, you'd have to give them at least a year.
well, no, I mean, or you have to have some sort of reimbursement clause or something because that facility is costing us, I just don't see how that facility works long-term. That's just my opinion.
If it does become a successful field,
but it's never been successful
Well,
in 20 years.
So it's the
this
first
is why we
time,
need
so
to
it's the
give
first
it,
time.
we need to give it a chance.
Give it a break, give it a break.
Yeah, but but to say it's not costing the
So
taxpayer
we only
money
have a
to not do
motion, we
something
don't
when
have
it
a
is true.
second on this. Oh, we do have a second, yes, sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
That's
you.
okay.
Yes.
I just want,
Well, I
I
think that
think
the
it's a
will of the
cool
court has
concept,
been
but-
heard, and Commissioner Modas and Jenny will do their best to represent the wishes of the court. And I believe that it's an opportunity. It's out there where I live too. I have no problem if, I hope you're successful. I hope it does work. I do understand it's a big cost and the county can't put anything in it. So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Can the motion say
Aye.
authorize them to get started?
Yes, he's got the authorization to get started, so if they work out the agreement, they can go to work as soon as Commissioner Modas and Jenny sign off on it, yes. They won't have to bring it back to court, so, but he is representing our wishes on the court. Did we have a vote? Sorry. A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 I'm
Any
abs-
opposed?
I'm gonna abstain.
One abstain. Thank you and good luck. And we do wish you the best. We know it's difficult and challenging, but good luck.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we would love to see something finally work out there.
Thank you, Edward. Good luck, sir.
On item number 5, discuss and consider D-selection of Govan Development LLC for engineering services for Hazel Bazemore Improvement Project, Precinct 1. And then discuss and consider the selection. So we want to deselect Govan and select LJA Engineering for the Hazel Bazemore project. And this is because it was brought to our attention, I guess it's okay to say that it's true. Govan had let his sam.gov number expire, and so we're having to change this. And our master service agreements. Hey, Michael, I want to ask you that, because can you come up to the podium, please? When we did the master service agreements, it has a block on there to put in your sam.gov number. Did we just, when we approved all those, did we all just fail to look at that? Or I know when I went back and looked, it is a column, or did he just not put it in? Or should we maybe make that a requirement in the future or something to eliminate this kind of problem?
Yes, I believe we currently have that requirement
Oh,
on there,
okay.
and all the items go through the county attorney's office to review. We give it to Holt, who represents the ARPA views.
And we
and
all, everybody
oversight
looked
there,
at it, and we all
also give it
failed.
to the grants
Yes,
department.
yes,
And
yes.
the other thing I should mention is.
We have to stop, wait.
Yo,
Commissioner Gonzalez. Okay. Oh, yeah,
we have no quorum.
yeah.
Somebody's got us, well, no, grab one. No, we don't know where he went.
Oh, there he comes, okay. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. We're 3 now, you're good. He's back. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
with the door
I
and
thought you were
stuff.
leaving.
I thought you were leaving behind him. I saw you helping him to the door, yes. So I agree.
But in any case, LJA does have everything that we need, and I believe the court's intention is to move this over to them. Is that
Make the
So-
motion to, oh, I'm sorry, Judge.
Go ahead. I
Let's
was
get
gonna
him-
make the motion too, so.
Go ahead. Nope, you go ahead. You go
Make the motion to deselect Govan Development LLC and to select LGA Engineering for the Hazel Bazemore project improvement. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. And the motion passes. Item number 6, discuss and consider authorizing and approving ARPA Engineering Master Service Contract Work Authorization Number 2 with LJ Engineering for the Hazel Bazemore Park improvements.
So moved, Judge.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item number 7, discuss and consider authorizing and approving work authorization number 1 between Levy Dykema and for Oscar Ortiz Park.
So moved, I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Second
I
that
apologize.
motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign.
Renovation?
What's that?
This,
Is that renovation of the park?
yes, the
Yes,
150,000.
additions.
It's precinct 3 funds, ARPA funds.
ARPA funds?
Yes. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. I can remember if I did or not. Number 8 and 9, bringing those up together.
I'd just like to ask that those be an executive session. There's legal, I have legal questions on those.
You have a legal question on
Yes, ma'am.
this?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
Didn't we do that last time? Go behind doors because of this same?
No, I have different
Same
legal
reason?
questions. 8 and 9.
A8, I will bring that in.
And 9?
Commissioner isn't
New
here.
information.
8 and 9, I'll bring those together, so we'll just. Item number 10, discuss, consider, and take action on Nueces County collecting
2 meetings.
plat application fees within the county's jurisdiction and related matters.
Judge, I didn't have any backup on this. I would make a motion to table this because the meetings haven't occurred, the advisory hasn't been provided by the,
I'd like to make a motion we proceed with this.
I
Because
just,
I think there was a backup. I thought I saw it.
no, because there's no advisory. There's been no meeting that's occurred.
Let me
even
ask
though-
one, let me ask if he's back there. I thought I saw something somewhere. I just didn't know.
Oh, this is the same stuff that was before.
Yes, sir.
It's the same, you haven't had any meetings or anything.
Not with the Home Builders Association, right,
So
Commissioner?
we have an issue first that we have to address. He made a motion to table, so.
I don't mind, if he wants to ask
If he wants-
questions
oh, okay.
before, I mean, a couple of
Yeah,
questions
but what-
on process, I don't
Yeah,
want to.
Yeah, because I want to make sure, we're not having any meetings, why are we not having any meetings?
Okay.
Commissioner, I did email the Home Builders Association. They were supposed to get back with me on a date to meet with them. I still have not received a date and a time from them, so that's the purpose of not having a meeting with them. I did want to mention that I did meet with a few developers. As a matter of fact, one came in yesterday, and we did talk to them about the fees that are being discussed at this time in Commissioner's Court. And I had mentioned to him, I think he's planning on developing out there in the London area, and it's about 99 acres or so with 33 lots. And I did talk to him about asking him, hey, are you okay with us, or do you think us adding a fee for us reviewing a plat? Are you okay with paying that fee? He didn't say that he has no issue paying those type of fees. Because if you really look at it, Judge and Commissioners, is that the fees that we're asking are like about $1,500. I guess that's like on the medium side. And for 33 lots, if you divide 1,500 by 33, it's only like $4.50 per lot. So it's not like each individual lot is being requested to be paid. It's not like we're asking each lot to pay $1,500. This is just for a plat review of the whole plat. Sometimes we have plats that come in 100 acres or 200 acres, and they have 600 to 900 units. So if you divide those 600 units or 900 units, you're looking at only like 75 cents per lot. So in comparison to what the lot they charge for, like for example, the developer from yesterday, if he's charging $200,000 per lot or $150,000 per lot, for $4.50 for a platting fee is minimal to what we're requesting as part of the platting.
So how much do we expect to make then, if we're losing out on so much money? Then what would be your closest estimate of how much we anticipate to
I
make
think,
for the county?
and that's gonna be all depending on, of course, the development, right, Commissioner? I
Best
know-
estimate that you can. What
Best
do you
estimate,
think?
if we're looking at a whole year, Commissioner, we're probably gonna be looking at maybe anywhere from, I'm gonna say between 30 and 50,000 a year. The thing about it is also is kind of like, these bigger industrial areas that we've came in, those would be a little bit more because they are developing a bigger piece of property. And even though ones that have come to us and meet with us, and I'm talking about these industrial people that come talk to us and they say, hey, I mean, do you have any planning fees? Or do you have any fees that we need to pay to the county? And when we tell them no, they kind of laugh and they kind of say, hey, why not? So they're used to paying these fees in other counties and in other communities. And when we tell them there's no fees for the county, they kind of just say, okay, you know.
So
We get emails all the time.
So I've always said I support this issue, I support the concept of it, but I do agree with, and I'm glad to hear that you reached out to someone from the development community. Once you can sit down and talk to their leadership, I know that they have their association, and get a better consensus of that, and bring that back, then obviously then we hear from legal. That's my only worry, is that I'd hate for us to collect money and then the city try to trump us on it, and then we have to pay back. That could just get into a whole mess, right? A lot of work. So that's my biggest hangup. It's not about the fact that we should or shouldn't, because I totally believe that we should. I think it's an excellent concept. I just want to make sure that, you know, we're kind of not double dipping, or that we can, and that as long as you've reached out, right? And we can't expect you to hold off forever. If you make your attempts, then just document them and show, hey, I've reached out and I've never heard from anyone from the industry's leadership, then okay. And then also the legal part of it. I mean, just those are the two hangups. I mean, I agree, until we kind of get those resolved, let's just wait to hear. But overall, I mean, I do support the concept of this. I think it does make sense. Like you said, it's done pretty much uniformly everywhere else in other counties throughout the state. So let's capture what we can, what is owed to our staff, to kind of make up the cost that you all have to invest in working on these plats. So.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to make sure also that you were not going to need additional staff to handle this.
That's correct, Judge.
Yes,
This is
and-
just to pay for some of our equipment, you know, anything that we need in order to.
And then the other thing is, that I believe, the way I read it, and Jenny, correct me if I'm wrong, there might be, that we wanted to be fully aware of what we're getting ourselves into and doing this, that the possibility, if nothing is started within 30 days, then we have to go back and reimburse these people this funds. So make sure you're fully aware of what you're committing to, the staff that has to take care of this and follow up on this too. So I need
yes.
your commitment totally on this.
And Judge, I've been here for 6 years with the
Yeah.
county, and we turn around plats and driveway permits within the timely manner. I think normally we got 14 days to return our comments back to the developer or the city, and we make sure that we do give those comments back to the developer, because I know some are in a rush, some want to get these properties developed, and we just want to make sure that we're not holding them back. So we're already doing it, Judge. I think this is just a matter of just collecting the fees for it.
Well, good.
And just for the record, Commissioner Modas, they did respond back to the county engineer and indicate they would get back to him this week with a date. And so it wasn't that they didn't respond. They had a 75-year gala that they were planning last week, and so they had responded accordingly. And then we still don't have the advisory from the county attorney on this that I had asked for before, on whether or not we should be getting some of this money back from the city, or they're already collecting for some of these things, and that was the issue as well, that I'd asked for that advice. And I don't expect you to have it, because that was less than 2 weeks ago. So
I don't think,
that was what was not on here that wasn't there. So I'm not against the concept. I just want to make sure we do our homework on it either, and make
So do
that
you
we're
think
not,
you
because I
can have
think,
this in the June 18th?
because, yeah, I can assure
Could
you,
get
you might have talked to
something-
one developer, but I've talked to other developers that don't agree with what you just said, Juan, and if you want me to line them up, I will, so be
Yes, sir.
very careful what you represent about that
No,
one,
I was
about
just
that
talking about that
one
one.
developer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And-
about
and-
that one developer.
Yes, sir, and just to let you know, we talk to them, when they call us, like I said, some of these industrial.
I know you don't care, but I'm trying.
Some of these industrial people that come in and talk to us about what they're developing, they'll always ask us. We got developments that are gonna be going on 77 that come to us. We got, that have asked us, is there a fee? And we just don't know, there's no fee. So, they kind of just.
and I think those are all new developments that are cities that has no part in right now. I mean, that this is the county, and they're all in county areas. So, I mean, I don't think that, for us putting a set of fee, starting now to new developments, I think that, the city has to know that we are charging those fees, and why would they charge those fees? I don't see how the city would even charge those fees out there in the county area, but I think it's a good thing to have, not a lot of money, but in the long run, it might help with some of the expenses, and I'm not gonna get a lot of money to hire staff or anything like that, but at least some expenses, that we might incur So, and, you know, I just think it's time we start doing it. I know other counties are doing it, and, you know, it's smaller counties, and so, I think that, when you really need to look into it, I don't know if we can make a motion contingent upon one meeting with the developers. I don't know if it'll change anything or not. Just because they say no, I don't think we have to do what they say either. It's gonna, you know, this is something we wanna do. It's not something that we want them to tell us what to do. So, you know, I think whatever we can do, we always complain we don't have enough money in the county, and we're short. So here we're trying to get some money, and, you know, now we're fighting that we don't want the money, so.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I agree with you, Commissioner. I think we should do what benefits the county, not what benefits other organizations, you know.
You mean our constituents?
Your
Yeah,
constituents.
they're constituents.
Our
but-
constituents.
But they're
yeah.
also in
I'll remind
business.
you of that one.
Our, yeah, you mean,
Yeah,
we shouldn't
yeah.
we shouldn't take input from the people that are affected the most? That's all I'm saying is.
No, I didn't say they
so all
didn't
we're-
take input.
Right, so they,
I said, we have to do what we have to do for the county.
right, but you're telling me we shouldn't have a meeting with the
Oh, no, I
people that are
didn't say
affected?
that. I didn't
Okay,
say
because
that.
they've responded
We
and said they're
already
happy.
have a motion to bring
say
this
that.
back for the June 18th, Commissioner Chesney's motion. And it seemed like you were in agreement, Commissioner Mottos, with getting the information and bringing it back. Are you the second on that? Yes. So we have a motion and a second to bring this back on the 18th with the assurance, Juan, you can set them down and shore up a meeting and bring us more information next time. So all those in favor, say aye.
Excuse me, Judge,
Yes.
I got something that I want Ms. King to read.
On this? On the lighting? Yes, sure.
Y'all were wondering if we had been talking to legal, this to the judges and the commissioners. We have been communicating with the county attorney's office, specifically Jenny Dorsey. And if y'all refer to the backup, one of the backups, it refers to the Texas local government code 232.0021. And it says the Commissioners Court may impose an application fee to cover the cost of the county's review of a subdivision plat and inspection of street, road, and drainage improvements described by the plat. The fee may vary based on the number of proposed lots in the subdivision, the acreage described by the plat, the type or extent of proposed street and drainage improvements, or any other reasonable criteria as determined by the Commissioners Court. The owner of the tract to be subdivided must pay the fee at the time directed by the county before the county conducts a review of the plat. The fee is subject to refund under section 232.0025. And we have been talking to the county attorney's office about this, and I believe they are okay with this law.
I don't think anybody disputes that we have the authority to do it, so, but I appreciate that. I think we're kind of in agreement. I think it just needs a little bit more tweaking, and I'm sorry to say that, but I think we all agree this is good, and it's not a problem for us.
Yeah, my request, well, I totally agree, the law is very clear on it. My request from the county attorney was, these fees are already being collected. We should be entitled to a portion of what the city, I think, and that's what you were gonna prepare something on to tell us if we have a right to collect some of the money from the city that they're already collecting, which
A
is.
portion of the fees that they collect on their own, but their agreement that was struck between the county and the city was that the city would collect whatever fees the county established in addition to the fees they collect on their own behalf. But we have not
never set
provided
a-
that to
We've
them.
never set a fee, but
But the question is different.
we don't get a portion of
You
their
told me the last
fees
time
they
right.
imposed. We would have to impose a fee, and the MOU we had with them that y'all pulled up a long time ago was, they had always said they would collect our fee. We just never imposed a fee, so they weren't supposed to collect anything for us.
Well, but the last time I asked the question, you said you didn't know, and you were going to get back
Whether
to us
we
was
can
collect.
assert a claim on the fees okay.
Right,
I'm
because-
more clear now.
Right,
Yes.
that,
That was the point.
that was all, yeah, nobody disputes we can do it. That was the question is, why can't we get a portion of what they're already collecting if that indeed is, if we're doing work on their behalf, because they ask us to do things.
Thank you, Mr. King.
And so just to clarify, we expect to have this resolved by the next meeting then,
18th, June.
right?
Judge, I do see an email that they have responded to Juan's email about a meeting asking for a May 28th meeting with you, so just so
Okay.
you know.
So we have a motion and a second to bring this back on the 18th after the meeting to move forward and with the clarification that he was asking from you, Jenny, I assume, yes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Now, item number 11, discuss and consider approval of agreement with the City of Driscoll, Texas to accept a donation of a .253 acre tract of land, and the county attorney has this and has reviewed, and it's acceptable?
Yes.
Thank you. Looking at you.
So moved, Judge.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. On item number 12, accept final completion of this. I'm going to take this into executive in a minute, but I would like for Mr. Huh?
I was gonna ask for that.
Yeah, I first want to hear from Mr. Wheaton and Juan. I believe they've been having meetings and they're all, Juan and Robert Breslin. I'd like to hear from them before we go back, if you could, please, and tell me where we are and where we stand. Yes.
Good. And basically, you just want me to state my position on it for now?
Yes.
So we're prepared to do a summary and sign off and have the county and ABM sign off on the project. All the equipment, piping, and systems that were in the contract documents have been installed. That agreement would be contingent, and I think that's been discussed, on doing a study by a third party of the software that's DDC control or digital control of the jail currently. Other than that one outlier, I think everything else is complete and in working condition through the majority of the entire project.
And with the agreement that was, that may be coming up that we will be talking about later, Juan, are you saying you agree with Mr. Wheaton?
Judge and Commissioners, in looking at this, I mean, I know Mr. Ween came up here and said that the equipment is done, but I know I sent a letter out about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. Those items are still not complete. In my opinion, as a county engineer, the project is not complete. Thank you.
You want to speak to, yes, Mr. Breslin?
Yeah, as on ABM's position, we feel comfortable that the equipment that is installed, as stated by Ron Wheaton, is complete and operational. Some of the equipment has been operational for over 2 years that we're talking about. The last component, which had some concern, was the smoke purge. We brought in a TAB consultant who came back to double check the systems. Everything that's on ABM's side is functional, operational. We did pull up some deficiencies that are county related. That has been shared, and Juan's team with John has been proactive of getting those items complete. I disagree that there's work that is not complete that was contractually, that we have set up. The last item, Judge, that you mentioned about having a independent party come in to look at the control side, we do agree and recommend that. I think that would flush out any concerns or things that maybe the system's not functioning properly. So we do agree with that, and we would execute any document that we need to, that agrees to all parties between us and then with Ron Wheaton as to what that individual should be testing, checking, and validating. So we're in agreement with that. I just wanted to share as well.
Does the county disagree with that? Juan?
Judge, we do. And the reason I say that as judge is because some of the equipment doesn't work. We're still having issues with the equipment. The controls aren't working correctly. some of the air handlers, there's a piece of equipment that has
I
been.
know you're talking about all the things that you're saying, the list, but I meant on the agreement, the third-party person coming in.
Oh, the third party? Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, yes, ma'am,
Do you
we
agree
discussed
with
that.
moving forward with the third-party person?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yes, ma'am, I think, since, whoever, I guess, they come up with the third party, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And this is gonna go into executive, so, we will
Judge,
move.
could I just state one last piece? I don't want
yes,
to get
please.
into a tennis court match here with going back and forth, but there is some equipment that may not be functioning. Example is the one unit, there's a blower unit. That is a piece of equipment that's probably 2 years outside of warranty. I have shared with the county that we're getting a proposal, and ABM is more than likely going to take care of that piece of equipment, but it is something that is outside of warranty. There was 2 sensors that were reviewed, that were installed over 2 years ago. They're operational correctly. The reading that they're showing is not correct. We are going through replacing those sensors as well on our costs, not on the county side. So I just want to be clear that when we talk about certain items that may not be working, we should be fair in stating what is maybe in a warranty stage, something that might be out of warranty. But a lot of this equipment has been installed for a good period of time with beneficial use. So again, I don't want to get into a tennis match going back and forth, but I just want to get clarity with people leaving to go into executive session that they are aware of what some of these issues may be. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Mr. Wheaton, one more time, would you come up? And in light of everything that has been said since you spoke, are you still in agreement with moving forward? You're going to be signing off on the fire controls and the air handler, correct? me,
We'll
what
put
are
it,
those two?
we'll
Yeah.
put together a summary of some of the original closeout documents, so we
But
have
you're
sort of a.
prepared to
Yeah, and
sign
I'm
off on
prepared to
those
sign that summary off.
as the engineer of record on the job.
Some of the issues like air handler 5-1, the blower burned up, it's a warranty issue. There are some warranty issues. It's a big project. You're gonna have some continuum of that. But that doesn't mean the original project isn't intact.
Okay, that's all I needed for here. Thank you very much, all of you. Moving on to that, and I'm gonna take that into executive. I guess I already said that.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes.
I apologize. I wasn't here when y'all discussed 9 and 10, the renovation of Hilltop.
We pulled it into executive.
You are?
Yes,
Okay, I got some video that I want to show. Will I be able to show it?
when we bring it back out to
Yeah,
talk
okay.
about it again.
Okay, that's
yes,
fine.
Yes. Item number 13, discuss, I'm through with you guys. Discuss and consider allocating Commissioner Precinct 3 American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds, 1, 2, 3, and 4, for a total allocation of 1.872138. That's yours, or are you making a motion? That's
Yes,
your-
yes.
Yes,
Yeah, definitely, Judge.
yes.
I just wanted to kind of address the items we're well familiar with, the request that was made by the City of Robstown and the Nueces Drainage District Number 2 on repairing the bridge at County Road 44. Item 2 is listed as a Boys and Girls Club, and that's kind of just internally what we've used, but just for the record, that organization does not have any connection to that building at all. It is a City of Robstown property. We just kind of use it because that's the easiest recognizable name that people know when we talk about that particular project. So even though that's there, listed there, officially, that's not the name of the building. But we could give the address and people would be kind of maybe uncertain of what we're talking about. But that's just for clarification if there's any questions out there. And that is for infrastructure improvements to the building and building only. All these funds that we're talking about, items 1 through 4, are all actual physical improvements or equipment additions that are going to be added. None of this goes to any salary. None of this goes to any particular organization at all. It goes to the improvement of the buildings on behalf of the community and through a partnership with the City of Robstown. So it's not, has anything to do with any particular group. Same thing with item 3. We refer to it as the historic First Methodist Church building, but in reality, it is not First Methodist Church any longer. It has the historical designation there. It is owned by a different group, and there is a partnership that is being worked through a nonprofit organization, and once again, through our partners at the City of Robstown for that building. And that will also be for improvements to the building itself, not for salary, not for any particular group at all, other than to provide services for the community, for children and/or adults. So just wanted to clarify item number 3. And item number 4 for your information is an item that we've mentioned also previously, Keach Family Library Inclusive and Sensory Playground Improvements. This was something we wanted to add on to the Story Walk Trail, but we decided the best approach would be to have this as a separate item. So it is a standalone item, but it is to be able to help children of all abilities. It would be the first of its kind in this area of the county. And so that's the benefit, and that is the target group. But it can be children of families who have children of various abilities be able to access and use this facility. So that's what that is. So just wanted clarification. I know there was some concerns brought up, and rightfully so. When you look at it, you may have wonders or worries about where or why is this money being allocated. But these are the groups and the organizations that we have agreed to partner with. And this is really kind of just one of the first steps. This is not necessarily the final step to get this project complete. We have to, internally, are trying to designate all our funding for now to be complete, but there's still a lot of process that needs to be worked on to get paperwork complete and other clarification complete. We appreciate our partners here internally with our county staff, and also our partners at GrantWorks, who have spent a lot of time working on these various groups and trying to help us get to the end goal, which is supporting the community with rehabbed buildings. And then the programming will be decided by those organizations that have those groups, but of course with a city or a community purpose in mind. And that's all that there is to it. It's not about a membership that I've heard earlier. It's not anything that we are requiring or expect to have. We are just fixing these buildings up because City of Robstown doesn't have the funding to make these improvements, and it's something I'm committed to do for the community there. So available for any questions from the court if you have any. If not, make a motion to approve item number 13.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. On item number 14, Jenny, I don't know if you can do it. Kevin, I just texted him. He is on a phone call. He said he might be here, but I'm not sure that, oh, he's here. Okay. Discuss and consider the recently passed tax exemptions for qualifying daycare facilities in Tax Code 11.36, which took effect January 1st, 2024, and all related matters. We don't have to do this. It's an option because the law changed that we can give this break. I don't know the impact it will have on the county. I think you said it's a 0 impact, Kevin?
Yeah, well, here, what happens with all exemptions is when you have an exemption come on board, when we run the truth in taxation numbers, you have that levy loss that comes off, and so when that levy loss comes into that calculation, it increases the no new revenue rate to offset that levy loss that's in there essentially. So
You're passing the cost on to somebody else.
it's redistributing the cost
Yes.
to somebody else is what, and that's what happens with all exemptions. And that's the reason why trying to fix the property tax situation with exemptions does not work. Those who do not take advantage of it, it's basically absorbed by everybody else around. Now, the idea that the legislature had behind this was to try to reduce the property tax on these
Daycare
daycare facilities.
But this is on the daycare. This is not on the individuals and the children
That
coming
is
in.
correct.
This is on the business.
Right, it's on the
Yes.
business, and it's just help stabilize and make those things more.
Yes.
That was the idea behind it, was to stabilize and make their business model more predictable and help offset the expense, and hopefully that gets passed down to the consumers. Whether it does or not, who knows?
But then, so what do we need to do on this? Because I've gotten a couple emails on it too, and that they support it, and we need to pass it, and I'm just a little,
That's up to y'all.
no, I mean, but, okay,
And so-
so what effect, I guess, how do I ask it? If we pass it, is that a negative tax impact on Nueces County, is what you're saying, or no?
It's not. It does it gets, those taxes that aren't paid get absorbed by, will be paid by others.
So the intent of this was
So-
for us to decide locally if we wanted to pass this on, and they, is that what you're,
That's with all exemptions. You
All
know, like,
exemptions.
for example, when you have, when we take on an over 65 exemption,
65 over.
that money comes off the tax roll, it comes out of the calculation, and it brings the taxes up for
Everybody
else.
else's taxes come up to make up for
And
it.
it's this way with every exemption that's out there. Is it bad?
No.
No. Is it, I think the impact's gonna be fairly minimal, because I don't know, number one, they have to apply for it. There's no way to know how many of these things are out there, and what that value is. So there's no way for me to go out there and say, well, you're bringing this X number of levy off the table now because we don't have applications. You won't know it, unfortunately, until it's passed. But it's not gonna be, I don't think we have such a ginormous number of daycare facilities out there that it's gonna have really a huge noticeable impact on the no new revenue rate, but it will increase it some. And that baseline will come up as that levy loss comes off.
So I look up here and I realize that several of us had to deal with this issue specifically when I was a caseworker and supervisor with the state. Brent Chesney, when he was judge of Court 5, the juvenile CPS court, and of course, Commissioner Gonzalez, when he was justice of the peace, dealing with truancy and other issues. When you look at keeping families together, or find that one parent or relative who is trying to do all the best they can to help support the children in their lives, whether biological or kinship placements, they're looking for daycares of all hours of the day. And they desperately need it, and obviously, I can remember cases of families who could not meet their obligation of work and providing for the children because they needed someone to watch the kids because they worked the graveyard shift to make a little bit better money. My hope is, I mean, I support the concept of this. If we could get maybe a breakdown of money, just so we can know, right?
There's no way to
I
know.
don't want to just,
Unfortunately, there's no way to know.
there's no way to track it.
No way to track it until we have the applications.
So
And
there's
so-
nothing through the state that we can get
No.
that captures, this is the percentage of daycare facilities you have in Nueces County that are the, what is it, the Texas Rising Star program?
You might be able to get that through the appraisal district, but I
Okay.
don't know that it's keyed in.
I
You
think
could
we could probably do a
and
database
then they would have to
search.
apply for it, because until they apply for the exemption, you don't know what that dollar amount's gonna be,
Yeah.
because you don't know what that particular piece of property is gonna be, is currently appraised at, and what the indication's gonna be.
Well,
So-
I don't have a problem with supporting, I mean, if we have a large increase, that only means that there's more options out there for the community, more options for working families, some who are struggling to keep their families together. Or you could argue all of them are trying to do that at some point or fashion, others that have state mandates, regulations that are being implemented on them. But, I mean, heck, if it becomes a problem, I think that's a good problem, because there's more people that can use them. And I think there may be a database that could be easily accessed. I just kind of want to quantify it. I just kind of want to see what the number is now,
Let
and then
me
compare it.
also interject that this is time sensitive. It
You won't
should
have time to do
We
that.
have to do, we would have to vote on this
If you want it
today.
if you want it for this year, you've got to do it now.
Yes.
Today.
Today.
Yes, today.
If you want to wait and not put it in effect until 25, then you've got time to gather that information and not offer it for the 24 tax year, which would be in the tax bill that we put out in October of 2025.
There's no-
The idea behind this is to help stabilize the cost of daycare,
Sure.
because we've all seen our values just shoot through the roof on some things, and then, businesses who don't have exemptions of any type whatsoever, they get hit immediately on that, and there's no way for them to forecast that. And
Well,
then-
I think
And then it's tax.
few ways.
It
It's gonna,
will.
it's gonna, It's gonna legitimize some because there are illegal childcare facilities that call themselves that, operate as that, but technically don't meet any state mandate or regulations.
Right.
I would wish that we could put some stipulations on it, that there were 24-hour facilities, because that's the key. That's where, when they go to the juvenile CPS court, that's when these families desperately need it the most, is when it's that non-traditional 8 to 5
Well, I
or
think-
7 to 8 kind of time frame that I wish that we could include. But, I mean, I would support it if we have to absolutely do it today, and I wouldn't want to delay it. But I was just wanting to quantify it, right? I
Well,
just wanted to
think-
be
I
able to
think
see
it would
some
help-
numbers, so.
It's also gonna help your standard times, because, I mean, you look at the number, I've got a staff of 68 people, and most of them have childcare, and let's face it, our pay's not that great.
Yeah, well-
And they really need to, they could really use the help and the stabilization of that.
I would make-
So, I mean, it's not just the
I would make the
24 hour.
motion to exempt.
So you don't really have the option to, you really don't have the option to stipulate that. It either meets the state statute for the exemption or it doesn't. And so you either accept it or you don't. The only options really that you have, if you do accept it, is you have the choice under the state statute to decide how much of an exemption you want to give. The minimum is 50%. You can go all the way up to 100%. And that's a decision that you guys have to make.
Well, I think I make a motion that we exempt daycare centers, facilities for 24, but we look at it again in 25.
Second.
And
But how much?
We will need an amount.
Can you do that, though? Can you come back and do it? You can't
You,
come back.
you can remove any exemption.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Probably not too popular. Once you give it, it's really hard to take it away.
Yeah, good luck with I'm not taking it away.
But that's your call, but you can change and remove.
Well, I would say
an
100%,
exemption.
I would say 100%,
Second.
I would say start at
I'd say
50. Yeah.
50%.
Let's start at
I
50
mean, they
and
are
then
still a
maybe.
business and they are
then
getting paid.
We get a
I
year,
mean,
kind of
yeah.
capture it, and then year 2, we can bring it back and do
help
at
a
least
lot of kids,
100,
so.
but.
Yeah, because you can change this.
It can always be
You
changed.
can always change it and up it.
It's easier
I
to
would
start off
highly
low and
recommend it.
increase than to start off high. and
I would
change it
highly
away.
recommend that if you are going to, if you do want to revisit it, you'll have a pretty good snapshot, after, before certification. The earlier in the process you do it, the better, because you want to have an accurate estimate when those, how we get your notice of appraised values that come in April. I would highly recommend, if you're going to revisit this, that you look at it in February. So that way you can get that again, and then that way your notice that you get from the appraisal district in April will have some capture of that as well, based on what you're deciding to do.
The only thing I'm worried about is that we go 50%, they're gonna raise up the prices for what they're gonna charge, and, I would say 80% or 100%, either one, to me, but I'm not gonna go 50%.
To really make a benefit for the.
Well, we
people,
have a
for the
motion to do the 100% in a second.
Yes.
Do you want to take a vote on
Well, I
it?
can rescind my motion to 80%, if 80% will help.
What is it?
100%, we'll leave it 100%, okay.
I mean, you can always change it.
Well, I agree, though, if we start high and then we need to back it down, then it's harder to pull that away. I'd rather start 50 and then say by next year, we're looking at 75 or 100% fully, that we honor and recognize this is
I mean,
very important. I don't think that that's the issue. But also, it's only those who qualify as Texas Rising Star Program. Is that correct? Is that what I read here in the language? Owner or operator which participates, it's under Section 1136, Section 2, Sub A.
I would defer that to the county attorney, because I don't
So
have it in
it's
front
there
of
on
me.
the backup documentation. So, I mean, there are a lot of requirements already being put, so it's just not gonna be, it seems like it's not gonna be
Anybody
any
receiving it,
old
yes.
daycare that wants to do it. They have to hit those qualifications, so.
But your point you made in the very beginning is like, there's no stipulation on these costs are going to be passed down to the children and the families or anything. It's on the business.
It's on the business to
to, they don't, yeah.
But hopefully it does stabilize that property tax, so
don't know
that piece,
Yeah,
so
hopefully.
that piece is,
Well, I've heard
One
50
of
and
the-
100, how about 75? Do I hear one? So I heard one twice? So let's go 75, that's in the middle, I'll be the middle guy on this one.
I'll be second.
Miracle.
I've heard 250s and 200s. How about 75?
Miracle. Branch is in the middle.
Hey, I'm in the middle for a change.
I rescind my motion at 75.
All right, he said 75. All right.
I rescind my motion at
See?
75.
Okay.
I'm a compromiser.
We have a motion and a second to agree to this for the 75%. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kip.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Item number 15, discuss and consider upcoming Commissioners Court meeting dates. I think we talked about one in November, possibly changing a date. I know it's not on here yet.
November.
Yeah, looking far ahead, I know we've talked about it before, and we still have time to discuss it if the court
But I think
feels we need to,
it's
but.
early enough to go ahead and change, and it's an absolute
Yeah,
reason to.
The 5th is going to be a busy day for
Elections,
several people,
all of
yeah.
us.
And so we just do it in one meeting,
What is your
Okay.
proposal, sir?
like the 13th, like,
Either just have
Like
one on the 13th or
13th.
have back-to-back the 13th and the 20th, just to add a meeting.
I definitely like the 13th only better, if everybody else is okay with that one.
I would have 3 meetings.
Well, you can come by yourself.
like I said, we don't have to deal with it now, but just
I
to
think
throw it
it's
out
good
there,
to
and we
go
can
ahead and
talk
get it
about
out there
it.
for our
We can
calendars,
talk
but
about
it's
it later.
the election is a big deal, so I say we go ahead.
Y'all aren't gonna wanna come the day after the election.
No,
You're gonna be tired. Yeah.
So we change the one, have
Oh,
one
that's right,
meeting
y'all
in
too.
November to the
Clerk's
13th.
office especially.
Yeah, yeah, y'all are gonna be super busy, yes.
Okay, so what is the motion, Commissioner Modas?
To consolidate to one meeting in November for November 13th.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, same sign, except for Commissioner Gonzalez. The motion passes. Thank you. He
Wait, did
said
you
yes.
Oh, I mean, okay.
He wants 3 more meetings, but yes.
Whatever.
Okay, moving up to Public Works. Discuss and consider authorizing and approving supplemental agreement, should be number 4, not number 3, with Hanson Professional Services to provide stormwater management. This is an annual TCEQ requirement. I'll make the motion to pass.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Moving on to item C, purchasing. Discuss and consider conditional selection for Bob Hall Pier reconstruction and related matters. Conditional selection.
I don't understand that.
I
Right,
know.
this, we conducted a bid opening on May 9th. We received 3 bids. The recommendation went to the Parks Board, I understand, on Thursday last week. And our recommendation is to support that, have the court support the conditional selection of Callan Marine for Bob Hall Pier reconstruction, as endorsed by the Nueces County Board of Coastal Parks. I believe the bid price is still a little above where we want it, and so this would authorize the team to start working on value engineering and bring that back hopefully at the next Commissioners Court on June 18th.
Yes.
I have to rebid it.
What's that? Judge, I'd make a motion and to conditionally accept Callan as the low bidder with the instruction to go back and do the value engineering, of which we have a meeting actually set up already to start that process.
Mike.
I'll second the motion.
Mike, the way it stands now, do we have to rebid?
No, it's conditional selection.
Yeah, we're only on conditional selection at this particular point, and so there's nothing for the court to consider for award until they come back with a value engineering proposal. And at that time, depending on what things are being looked at, and this is for any project, anytime we get into value engineering, depending on what pieces are being moved can change my opinion of what we should or should not do. And so right now, I have nothing in front of me on this other than recommendation of the low bidder, which I support the court moving forward at this point.
Very good, thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Oh, I'm sorry. Did
Yeah,
you?
I have a
Yeah.
question. Court approved 28 million. Is that including with the ARPA funds? I don't remember.
Yes, sir.
I thought it was 26, but then it was the ARPA funds that.
ARPA plus the port money as well. The additional ARPA, we put
That's
a
your ARPA plus.
plus the port funds, yes, sir.
Okay. For the pier, right?
And restaurant space. That's the total value of the total project is 28.3 million, which includes the allocation for the third-party concessionaire restaurant space, which includes that extra $1 million that the port gave 500, the judge and I gave 500, and then I had another $1 million for that restaurant space as well.
Yeah, I
That was
remember-
ARPA.
I remember that, yeah.
That was ARPA.
And the demolition is that's already done, right, Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then we got committed 2 million, almost 3 million for professional services?
I think it was right at the 10% level of total projects, 28 million, and I think it's I don't have it in front of me, sorry, 2.7, 2 point something. Yeah, so it's right at that 10% number and that's everything. That's construction management, that's architects, that's engineers, that's the whole deal.
So remaining was 22 million.
Remaining for construction, 22.7.
Scott Harris?
Yes,
Why isn't
uh-huh.
Scott Harris here?
It's on this chart right here, it is.
Yeah, no, that's right, and I gave you that as backup, and I'm sorry I left it in the other room, but that was the information that was provided to all of you. Yeah, I think you've got it there, Commissioner.
Yeah,
with the-
okay, that's what I'm
right,
reading- that's
yes,
what
sir,
I'm- that's
and
what
I'm
I'm
sorry I
reading
left mine in the other.
Yeah. Okay, I just it was weird that we had already kind of almost like we know what we're gonna do, except hadn't gone to court yet.
I know.
No, I don't know what y'all are gonna do until y'all vote on it right now.
Right, so
Until they come back with something,
what we're
and they
gonna
can
do
value
on,
engineer it, yes.
what we're gonna do on what? What were you saying? I
You
didn't-
know,
I
I
didn't hear.
just, after reviewing it, I think that, I just feel like it's already gone through the process of selection.
Oh, no, so on,
No, this is what we're
on
doing
this,
today.
on this
I know,
particular,
It went to the Parks Board
Yeah.
first, because they have to look at it first, and then so what they did was they made their choice based on that, and now we're ratifying, or we're also approving what they've recommended.
yes.
Conditionally, based on the value engineering that will start tomorrow.
This would be one of the projects that would be considered countywide project?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because I had some constituents while I was out.
Can you
I
speak
can't hear
into
you.
the microphone?
I had some
Sorry.
constituents while I was out, they went to my house, and they talked to me about it, and they said, well, if it's considered a countywide project, said, why can't we, those are not needs, those are wants. And the people here in Banquete and Agua Dulce really need drainage and fix the water lines and the sewage lines. So they were asking, why can't we consider them instead of, the island is progressing real good. There's a lot of building going on, there's a lot of restaurants going up, but it's our rural areas that are suffering. So that's what my constituents were telling me.
No, they're all our constituents, everyone.
So maybe y'all can reconsider, putting some money up for Banquete and Agua Dulce. Because those are really needs, not wants. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we're going to just table this, Commissioner, I guess?
No, it's the motion that's been made and seconded is to
Value
conditionally
engineering.
approve to go to value engineering. And then it'll come back with that at the June meeting for final approval based on,
Like we did almost with the Hilltop.
right, it'll come back again to show what the value engineering did to get it into budget.
And that's going to be 1.4 million?
That's already been cut to 935,000 based on some redundancy. So at this point, I think if you look at the bottom of that, it indicates that in there too. So the number going
I
into
don't
that.
know, it's 1.4, 1.1.
Right, but if it's the letter that I provided, there was a number of about 935,000. If you go to the bottom of the letter, on the back page, and I don't have it in front of me, but I can, if you. Let me see, hold on.
935,000. On the second page right
No,
here.
the one from,
That one?
Scott Harris? Scott Harris.
right, from Scott Harris.
Right here. Oh, you've got it right there. Yes.
You see it?
No, 3.3.
Right, so they've already found redundancies in some things that were cost savings in the rehabilitation of the existing facilities, which has brought it,
Would they let us know what they are? Because they're not gonna
When they
change
bring
the
it
scope of
back,
work.
they
we're gonna
haven't
bring
done
the
it
whole
yet.
thing back. This is
We
what I'm
haven't even
saying.
started that process yet.
Right,
This
they
is
just,
the
they just looked at it and
beginning.
found that,
Yes.
and then tomorrow starts the meeting where we're gonna go back and do the value engineering and then bring it back to show you where we are to get it back into.
All right, that's
Okay.
good.
And does this have to go back, it doesn't have to go back to the board again,
Parks Board.
Parks Board?
They
They've already
gave
done their one
yeah.
vote, so it's just now.
I believe it was just their recommendation, correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner, that comes to the court, and when the court approves this conditional selection, then we're moving forward. We don't have a requirement to go back to the Parks Board to execute
Right,
the
but
contract at
There
the end.
changes you are.
Right, no, but they'll be involved in the value engineering process, so they'll have their input at the value engineering process, so they'll have representatives there as well.
Right.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the conditional selection, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any opposed? I'm sorry.
I did, Judge.
Okay.
And Judge, I just want to acknowledge, thank that Troy Adler and Bob Paulson, the chair and vice chair, are here today as well. I appreciate their help, and the Parks Board's expediting this, and Scott Cross is here as well, so thank you all very much.
Moving on to item 2, discuss and consider authorizing and approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Vulcan Construction Materials. This is regular use that y'all use throughout the year or something.
Right, this is just a renewal, but anytime a renewal contains a price increase, we bring that in the regular agenda, which is what we're doing here. The price is going up from $86.86 to $88.86.
Thank you.
And on the ones that are within the 20-mile radius, that increases from 89.06 to 91.06 as permitted by the contract. And we recommend approval. County Attorney has reviewed this for legal sufficiency, and Public Works recommends approval.
We have a motion.
Second, sorry,
No,
there
yes.
wasn't one.
Can you wait? We have a motion and a second. D, wait. Do we have a second? Sorry, did someone second?
I did.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Moving on to item number 3, discuss and consider conditional selection of ICE for Amistad Veterans Memorial Park.
Yes, we conducted a proposal opening on May 14th. We received 3 proposals. The recommendation is to approve conditional selection of International Consulting Engineers, ICE, for Amistad Veterans Memorial Park improvements. And also, recommendation would be to conduct some value engineering on this project as well to bring the cost within the available funds allocated for the project. Inland Parks has reviewed and recommends approval of conditional selection at this time, and then we'd come back as soon
Make
as
the
that work has
motion to
been done.
pass.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the auditor's office, item number 1, discuss and consider authorizing and approving a time-only change order number 5.
I'm sorry, Judge, can I go back? I mean, I think number 3 was mine. Is that Veterans Memorial Park in
Yes,
Bishop, right?
precinct 2.
Yeah, we passed it.
Yes, we passed it.
You're good.
Yeah. Did you have something you
Yeah, I
wanted
have
to change?
something where's Michael? He's already gone.
Yes. Did you have a problem with it?
Well, I don't know about going over, I just see, it's just why I was asking a while ago. Maybe we should have gone through conditional selection like we did in precinct 4. So I would have known what's going on, right? Michael, number 3,
Yes, sir.
you said we had to go to value engineering. So was there, like he was
It was over
under,
budget.
or was there alternates there, or what? I mean, I never knew anything about this. Again, maybe we should have done the same route we did in precinct 4, you know, where conditional.
That's what we
Okay,
just
so,
did.
so just so the court knows, conditional selection is different than, conditioned upon value engineering. Those are two different kind of ideas. Conditional selection is a step in the procurement process where we, basically pre-select a vendor, for a project based on them being low bidder. And then we have to go and put the contract together and bring that back to the court. And usually if they bid, under the budget and we don't have to do value engineering, that resulting contract is just gonna be for perhaps the base bid or an additive if all of that fits within the budget. And
So
then
on this one
separate-
here,
and
on
then
this
sep-
one here, what was the, it was higher than what it was, what was it, what came out, what was the part was higher? Do we know?
So, my understanding, and I don't know if Edward, he left already. My understanding was that there's a base bid, amount of $1,012,317.35. There's an additive number 1 for $65,400 and an additive number 2 for $23,890. And I don't believe that was the amount, I believe that's higher than the amount we have allocated for this project.
But if they're additives, they're not part of the scope of work right now, right?
Where we are right now is, all of these things have been drawn into the project, and what we're doing today is not, requiring the court to select, just the base bid or a base and an additive 1 or a base and an additive 2. That will come when we, after conditional selection, and we'll come back and finalize exactly, what items are being proposed to do.
So right now, we're doing the selection right now, so that was.
You're just selecting a vendor so that we can now go negotiate with them.
A little bit, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because I remember.
Yeah, and the court will always, when we come back for award, that's the key point. That's where the rubber meets the road. We're gonna come in with the contract, and we'll have either Edward or whoever the project manager is on a particular project to explain to the court exactly what you're getting, right? You're gonna get the base bid, or you're gonna get the base plus an additive, and what exactly that includes or
And it
does not include.
might not change the base bid, right?
It is possible that it might not.
Okay, okay.
The other thing it would be is if the project comes in higher than the amount, the court has the ability, if they seek additional funding, to add to the project where we can do the whole base bid and or other additives. You have that option as well. But right now, all we're doing is just picking a vendor so we can start that process.
I got you, okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay.
Do you want to unpass your own thing, or?
You already passed, you already passed it. I just bringing it back.
I'm just passing for you. Come on, just trying to help you out.
Item D1, Auditor's Office, discuss and consider authorizing, approving a time-only change order number 5 for Alight extended post-implementation support. I guess this is extending the dates that they are available or something to us, or what?
That is
Time only?
correct.
Yes.
It is extending the dates for the adaptive implementation and I believe also strategic sourcing, which impacts Michael Robinson. That's a purchasing function. It's a time-only extension. The time-only extension is being requested due to unforeseen circumstances, such as extending testing requirements and delays on our side, honestly, that have impacted the project timeline.
Not financial, just time only
Yes,
extension.
it's a time-only
I'll make
extension
the
because
motion
their
to
hours
pass.
aren't going to increase.
Yes. I make the motion to pass. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item E1, Human Resources, discuss and consider authorizing and approving Amendment Number 1 to a managed prescription drug program agreement managed by Script Care Limited. And this is time-sensitive as well, but it will result in rebates and savings for the county. The insurance committee that was on the phone call highly suggests we pass this.
Yes, and the insurance consultant's already showing its value in the 2.5 months that they have been contracting with us for a $256,000 increase to our bottom line, so it is recommended.
We have a motion. I'll second that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item number 2, discuss and consider reclassification of the assistant foreman and foreman positions. Reclassification is to be funded by deleting one roadway technician position, resulting in cost savings. And I had a little bit of a problem with this one on the way we got a report. We usually get more detail. This just listed a bunch of people. Not that I'm voting for it. I've voted all year long. Everybody I voted no on, so no offense. But the cost savings,
This is
There
a
was
permanent
really-
cost savings, right? This is a permanent cost saving.
That is correct.
That's all, yeah. I would make the motion to reclassify the assistant foreman and foreman positions and deleting one roadway technician, making this a permanent cost savings.
Second.
And that's good, Juan? Yes, sir. Okay, all right, thank you.
we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, sorry, I'm voting no. Sorry. I have to vote no. I voted no all year long and everybody, sorry.
Hopefully the new year will bring
Remind
about
you.
a new vote.
No, I still
Nice.
think
Good for
these
New
should be
Year.
done in budget. We are a month
Nice.
away from budget, people. I still think this is, yes.
It's permanent.
Thank you, Judge.
I
Commissioner,
agree,
thank you.
it's not permanent.
So we are down to executive session, but we have lots of items coming in here. Did I miss anything before we start rattling off all of that?
That's the items coming in here?
Yeah.
Only got 2 there.
No, we brought 4 more into there.
Oh,
Yeah.
we did?
And before we go in, I want to table item B from executive. Ms. Ida is unable to be here, and we send our condolences out to her right now, and we told her that we would
Her husband passed
table
away.
this.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. So now I will,
No date.
4B,
Which one, until when she wants to?
to the next, but we may not even need to, until we bring it back, just till we bring it back.
Until the judge brings it back, let's do
Yeah.
it that way. Or
Yeah, I
whoever,
think
no,
whoever, any one of us.
What do we take into the bag now, 8 and 9?
I'm fixing to list them all off.
Okay.
Okay, executive session, public notice is given that the Commissioners Court may elect to go into executive session anytime during the meeting to discuss matters listed anywhere on the agenda when authorized by the provisions of the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, to the extent there has been a past practice of distinguishing items for public deliberation and those for executive session. The public is advised that the court is departing from that practice and reserves the right to discuss any listed agenda items in the executive session when authorized by law to do so. In the event the Commissioners Court elects to go into executive session regarding an agenda item, the section or sections of the Open Meetings Act authorizing the executive session will be publicly announced by the presiding officer in accordance with the authority of the Government Code, Vernon's Texas Code, Section 551.071, 551.072, 551.073, 551.074, 551.0745, 551.076, 551.086, 551.087. The Commissioners Court will hold an executive session to consult with attorneys, including matters related to litigation, deliberate regarding real property, prospective gifts, personnel matters, including termination, county advisory bodies, security devices, and/or economic development negotiations, and other matters that may be discussed in an executive session. Upon completion of the executive session, the Commissioners Court may, in an open session, take such action as appropriate on items listed in an executive session. Item A today is consult with the county attorney regarding a claim for Garrett Miller, County Road 52, and all related matters. Take action in same open session if necessary. Item A1 is discuss and consider authorization of premiums for a 1-year policy term for property and liability insurance premiums. That would be 551.071?
Yes.
551.071. Item A8 and 9 are in conjunction. Can we do those together? Discuss and consider authorizing Richter Architects to discuss, well, I guess we have to do, I have to read them all out. discuss and consider, everything about Hilltop Community Project and moving forward on items 8 and number 9, and coming out in open session and taking action if necessary. And that would be 551.071 as well. Item 3A12 is on the final completion of the equipment lease purchase from Bank of America on the bundled energy solutions projects. And that would be the same, 551.071. 071, yes. I'm losing my thoughts. I think that is everything, guys. The ABM is that one, 3A12. That's
Okay.
ABM, the energy bundled.
8, 9, and 12, Judge, is that it?
1, 8, 9, and 12, yes. And so it is 11:58, and we are going to executive session. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And we are back from executive. On item A, I will make a motion to agree to the claim subject to a release of all future claims being signed.
And the amount, Judge?
And the amount, I think it was $680, yes.
Second.
We have a motion, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes.
Oh,
Um,
and authorize the,
The Treasury to release the payment?
And
Authorize
authorize the
Treasury to
Treasury to
release-
do an,
Payment
To
tomorrow.
release the payment upon obtaining the proper signatures and approvals.
Can I?
okay, can you
I
go back
agree.
and add that to my motion?
I
Thank
agree
you.
to the second on that.
Does anybody want to disagree with that? The motion
Early
passed.
release,
Early
authorize.
Early release, yes. Okay, so then on item A1 on our property and insurance, Commissioner Chesney?
Oh, that's mine.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't have any.
Yes, Judge. I'd like to make a motion to authorize the premiums for 1-year policy term for property and liability insurance renewals per broker of record. This includes $75 million in coverage for property and windstorm insurance, which is labeled option 1 in our packet.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. On item 3A9, I think Commissioner Gonzalez, you have a motion.
Yes, I'll make motion to remove the proposed new sections at Hilltop Community Center and use the money from that to renovate the entire Hilltop structures, which includes all wings, which represents a finding of no material change of scope and is in the best interest of Nueces County.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. On item 3A12 with the ABM contract, I will make the motion to release the final 10% retainage payment to ABM with the condition of this document, the letter being signed with the third-party person coming in to check on the control panels, the document that was sent to me that we have all agreed upon. Anything else I need to say on that one, Jenny?
I think that is it.
That's
Second,
it.
if there wasn't one.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'm gonna- Go ahead, and go say- I have a lot of reservations on this one, Judge. I'll go ahead and go aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. No, I'm serious.
The motion passes. Now, do we have any adjournments in memory?
I have 2, Your Honor,
Yes, go ahead.
but I don't mean to go first if no one else has any.
You're first up. You open your mouth first.
Okay. All right, first one is Rodney Centerfit. Rodney was born a healthy 12-pound baby on September 6, 1945. His intelligence and athletic prowess exhibited themselves early on in his life. He once had a teacher say he could stand on his head, look out the window, and repeat back to me word for word sentences I just said. He was a three-sport letterman, football, basketball, and baseball, and a salutatorian of his 1963 class at Academy High School. Rodney earned a scholarship to play football for Howard Payne University in Brownwood, Texas. Rodney was never afraid of hard work and soon had his sights set on the University of Texas at Austin. He enrolled at the university in '65, where he soon met the love of his life, Texas Longhorn football, and then he met his wife, Sheila, soon thereafter. Rodney graduated from Texas with a BS in math and MS in physics. He served in the United States Army Reserves, from which he was discharged as a first lieutenant. Rodney and Sheila moved to her hometown of Corpus Christi in 1976, where Rodney partnered with his in-laws and began work as a CPA. He retired as a partner in charge of the Corpus Christi office of Carr, Riggins, and Ingram, formerly Ranslaben, Centerfit, Sedgwick, and Company. Rodney and Sheila were blessed with 4 children whom they dearly loved and are extremely proud of. Anyone who knew Rodney knew his passion for golf, hunting, fishing, and Texas football. It was as if Rodney could not choose one hobby, so he simply chose them all and somehow managed to excel at all of them while simultaneously working full-time and being a wonderful father to his 4 children. He would not have been able to do any of this without his beautiful wife, Sheila. Rodney loved his family, and he and Sheila never missed a sporting event, recital, or whatever it was their children or grandchildren participated in. They were always present. Rodney once had a hole drilled in his head, and that same night attended his grandson's football game. To some, these actions may not make sense, but this was Rodney in the last chapter of his life. It was filled with unimaginable pain and suffering as cancer wreaked havoc on his body. He never complained. He just showed up. Our condolences to the Centerfit family on the loss of Rodney Centerfit. Second one is, get this out, sorry, it's all crumpled up, I apologize. Ralph Coker. The world lost a respected, wise, and most fair man. Ralph Coker passed away on April 29, 2024 at his home, surrounded by loved ones. After graduating from Lyman Hall High School, he attended junior college at Young Harris, where he excelled in basketball and debate. He joined the Army and went to Officers Candidate School in Lawton, Oklahoma, where he met his wife. He and Lee had 2 children, Todd Ashley and Roxanne Patrice. After discharge from the Army, he attended Georgia Tech and received a degree in industrial engineering. He was a member of Phi Beta Kappa. He started his career with Texaco in Port Arthur, Texas, and spent 45 years in the industry working in Tulsa, Oklahoma, El Paso, and ending as a plant manager for the Coastal Refinery in Corpus Christi. After his first wife passed away, he met with and married Kathy Coker. With her, he traveled the world, always eager to see a new, beautiful place. He is survived by his wife, Kathy, of 32 years. He was most proud of spending 20 years in the Army Reserves, retiring as lieutenant colonel. He often said the military prepared him for his civilian career. After retiring, he became a mentor for SCORE, mentoring over 300 small businesses. His second career was writing business columns for the Corpus Christi Caller-Times and the Island Moon and local PIBA newsletter. Our condolences to the Coker family on the loss of Ralph Coker.
Yes, absolutely. Are there any others? I just want to mention Miss Ida, our librarian, her husband passed away, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Ruben Garza. We don't have any information yet on that. And then also Teresa's sister-in-law, and please include Minnie McLemore Fields, the sister of Tim McLemore, passed away yesterday at the age of 85, and we don't have that obituary or anything too, but please, we keep both of those families, our county families, in our prayers for sure. Yes, thank you. If there are no more, then this meeting is adjourned. It is 1:31. Thank you very much.